Vámonos a la deriva, deriva,
Make way for the blues, make way. The royal blues coming through today. Sons of the week, por favor. Call your sofa, call your king, be ready and Make way for the blues, make way. The royal blues coming through today. Sons of the week, por favor. Call your sofa, call your king, be ready and
Let the Bible say what this wicked world decrees of people trodden down, who they always want to keep beneath. But the time has come for all those in the world to see the chains being broken. Spirit, mind, soul set free. A Negro. I said, come on, what's that to my Negroes? Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes, said a Negro. I said, come on, what's that to my Negroes? Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes. In 1492, Ferdinand and Isabella issued an edict to expel the Jews. They were banished from Portugal, Spain, and for their faith they were treated inhumane. This kicked off the Atlantic slave trade. Our history they try to erase. This fulfill Deuteronomy 28. Every single curse is black Hebrews living every day. We are hidden Hebrews and every nation. We are hidden Hebrews and every nation. Let the Bible see what this wicked world decrees of people trodden down, who they always want to keep beneath. But the time has come for all those in the world to see the chains being broken. Spirit, mind, soul set free. A Negro. I said, come on, what's that to my Negroes? Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes, said a Negro. I said, come on, what's that to my Negroes? Praise the Most High, cause we's about to go. Once they found out more about these Negroes.
Shalom, fam. All praise to the Most High.
Shalom, shalom, my brothers.
Shalom.
Shalom, family.
Brother Stephen, how you doing? I got the StreamYard mic. I got the StreamYard lamb backing. You know, I said lamb backing. On the other one, it's set up good to go if you wanted to. Now, just for a little bit, or shut it down, or what? Or don't do it at all.
What are you talking about, Hebrew?
I had the StreamYard set up. Let me show you. Well, I can't show you. Hold on, maybe I can. Let me show you. Well, I get it's a live sitting over here waiting. I'm gonna show y'all. I ain't hit the live button yet. Let me. I can have it lamb backing. Wait, hold on. Where is it at? Oh, right here. Right here. You see this, Mike? I thought y'all were gonna hit this and do the preview. Now I can hit that button and lamb back off the other one. Off of what we on now. Whatever you say. We can always hit the end button at any time.
Oh, okay. Hey, let it run through. Do what you do, cuz you in control. You got it. I'm not good with this type of stuff now.
I'm telling you, the Most High be sure. I ain't never thought of it like this. He showed it to me. All right.
Hold on, so Brother Stephen calling me. Let me put my phone. Let me put this on me.
All right, Brother Galen, what's your input? Tell them about yourself if you want to.
Yeah, man. Just good to be with you, brothers, as always. And you know, the Most High has blessed us to be together and to share the truth of His Word. And it sounds like today we're going to be talking about, you know, just some life experience type things, and you know, about seminaries and some call them cemeteries. That's all right too. But yeah, I'm just Brother Galen, and currently I'm a professor of Bible and theology and Christian ministry at Samford University. I hold a PhD from the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary.
Okay.
And so we can just go from there. I was hoping you would
give your credentials. I didn't want to. I was hoping you give your credentials.
Southern. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that because I don't. Yeah.
Uncle Galen got all the credentials.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, more than anything, we want to make sure brother has the anointing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna check the audio. I'm gonna dip out and check the audio. I'm gonna mute myself. Y'all go ahead. Oh.
Yeah, Brother Stephen come. I had to send the link. I guess you sent in the wrong link by accident. Yeah, brothers and sisters, we got an action pack. We got Brother Galen. We got Cortez. You got anything to say? You awful quiet there, brother.
Nah, I'm good, Hebrew. I'm good. I'm just I'm in the background, man, helping my daughter get ready to gonna send her off to dance class. But hey, I'm looking forward to the lesson, man. I'm amped up. I'm ready.
All praise. Waiting on the man of the hour to show up.
Shalom to you, Brother Galen. How you doing?
I'm fine, my brother, man. It's good to hear your voice and to be on here with you, man. I've been just asking about it. We hadn't talked in a while. So it's good to hear your voice and to be on this time with you, my brother.
You too. Tell Auntie I said hello, man, and I want to salute you while I got you on here, man. You and Brother Stephen did an awesome job on that lesson, man.
Oh, amen. Praise the Lord, brother. All praise to the Most High, man. We're just trying to, walk things out, man, and live the life that He's called us to, and man, just keep providing opportunities, man. I was telling Waryaz, man, we had met just a little bit ago, and big part of me and Kathy's heart, man, is to see Hebrews really walking in the true blessings of our father Abraham. And I think that really comes with how we are with one another and how we cooperate, communicate, and then do commerce with one another, So we're just excited, man. Want to keep on doing the Most High's will.
Yes, sir.
All praises.
Remember, it also written in the scripts. What was that song that the Most High was going to raise us up where we were sold? He said He's going to raise us up. So we got to get out of this mindset because the heathen suffering, that we're going to be suffering along with them. That's not necessarily the case. Now the wicked, go ahead, brother. Now the wicked, that's
Jeremiah 29, 1-7 talks about, where the place where you are captive, you're supposed to, build houses and plant cities, and, that they're blessed because we're blessed. And so, when you look at that script, man, it says, pray for the city on where you are sent, for in its prosperity, you shall have prosperity. It shall have prosperity in your prosperity. Mm-hmm. And so we're to be prosperous with one another. We're to be an example, as we were saying the other day, of what it means to truly be Hebrew men in particular. So that's just where we're at, man. We're just trying to live that out.
All praises. All right, who's going first? Brother Stephen? You on deck?
Yeah, we gonna start out. We're gonna start out with the introduction for the lesson, and then we'll go into the first video. What we're dealing with, the lesson is about seminary school. And first we want to talk about the origins of the seminary school. The seminary school, seminary comes from the Latin word seminarium, which means plant nursery, which can be interpreted as breeding ground. It's like a greenhouse that provides ideal conditions for seeds to grow into hardy plants.
You got it. You got a link so I can show them. Do you want me to show them?
No, I'll just read it.
Okay. All right.
It says a seminary was first a place for young men to become priests. But keep in mind that Hebrew men and women were enslaved at this time. The first seminary school was founded in the 1780s in Baltimore, Maryland, where Bishop John Carroll, seeing the isolation of American Catholics from Europe after the American Revolution, he made plans to develop American clergy. And the word seminarium, and a seminarium it means a seminar, a lecture, a presentation, a situation for teaching and discussion. A seminary school for priests and or teachers. And seminary, the word seminary derives from the word seminarium. So that's originally where the idea for seminary schools here in America came from. This bishop named John Carroll. He was a Catholic, and he developed this school for European Americans here in America after the American Revolutionary War. So when they first established these seminary schools, they established these schools not with us in mind. First of all, these schools were meant to educate white European men coming into this country.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Is what it was developed for.
That's an eye opener right there. The whole purpose of them creating these cemetery schools was not for us. Go ahead, bro.
Right. Yeah, they established them not with us in mind, but of course, after slavery, they had to find a way to enslave us, a way for the future enslavement of our people. So they had to establish these schools in order to educate the people that they knew was the biggest influence over the black communities, which was the black preachers. So they used these schools to teach our pastors how to teach us the word in a way that would keep us in captivity.
Yep.
So with that being said, we got a video, family. We got a video. We have a pastor here that was educated at a seminary school, and we also have a pastor that was called by the Most High to preach that did not go to a seminary school. So let's listen to what they have to say. Everybody mute their microphone. I think the video is about 20 minutes. If y'all have something to say while the video is playing, y'all feel free to chime in if y'all got something to say. You know the video I'm talking about, don't you, bro?
Yeah, Brother Bishop.
Eddie Long. Not Eddie Long, but
Bishop Noel Jones.
Right. Yeah, Noel Jones. Yeah, start.
Yeah, I'm queuing it right now.
Okay.
Let me see.
There are no lotteries in.
Share your screen, Hebrew.
All right. I forgot to send it to my phone, Mike. I forgot to send it to my phone. I mean, to my laptop. Well, okay, here we go. Oh, Mike. I forgot to send it to my phone. Well, okay, here we go. I got all these. Let me close these portals, these doors, these videos. Okay, here we go, family. Y'all let me know if the audio right.
That allows them to come to church every Sunday morning and to preach until we shout, and the choir sings until we shout. But Monday through Saturday, they ain't got no programs, no services, nothing serving African American people. What is it about that. I mean, I can't imagine. King was a brilliant man, but I can't imagine that he was so bright that he understood how important that intersection is, and that so many are missing that today. What's wrong?
Tavis, I want to join with the other panelists in thanking you for assembling this group of persons. I don't control the mic. I'm sorry.
They can hear you now, Doc. Go ahead.
But there's several things, and I was hoping Dr. Taylor, as the senior statesman on the panel, would say something about this, because he was a contemporary of Dr. King's. But he's being kind. The main issue we have not done, Cornel West always says we don't define terms, so we talk all around stuff. We haven't defined what the black church is. Now, I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But to respond to your question, Dr. King was not popular among African Americans until after he was dead. All right? Dr. King headed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And to us up north, that was their problem. In Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, the following was not large. It was not large, and in Chicago, the following was anti-King. Chicago was the home of Olivet Baptist Church, Joseph H. Jackson, who sided with Mayor Daley. They did not want King, they didn't want Jesse, so he didn't have no following until after, like everybody walking around a piece of wood, see this from the original cross, everybody became a King follower after he was shot and killed. One of the problems that causes what you're asking is Dr. King was seminary trained, my brother. All right, so where you get the intersection of the social and the theological hermeneutic, 90% of African American clergy persons are not seminary trained. All right, I cannot be a lawyer if I don't go to law school. I cannot be a doctor if I don't go to med school. But all I got to do is turn around my collar and hallelujah, I got the anointing, and I got the...
Hey, what y'all think about it? What is he trying to say? That you should go to school? Is that what he's trying to say, Brother Stephen?
Yeah, the point that he's making is, from his perspective, this is just his perspective on it. Other pastors are going to have a chance to speak as well. And what I forgot to mention before we started this video is, on this panel, we're not playing this video because we feel that people should not go to seminary school. That's not our reason for playing the video. I don't have a preference whether you go to seminary school or not, because I personally feel like seminary school does have its place in certain situations. And I also feel on the other pastor side that I don't feel like seminary school is necessary for a person to be able to rightly divide the word of the Most High.
Right.
Now, from the perspective that this brother is coming from, he's making a point that he feel like you should be required to go to seminary school in order to be able to preach. Okay, that's the point that he's making.
But yeah.
But why you got it stopped? I want to read something.
Okay.
I got a script that I want to read. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this script from the book of Matthew.
And y'all make sure y'all get the likes up and subscribe. That'll help the message get out. Uh-oh. I'm trying to share a script in the chat.
Let's go to Matthew chapter 12.
Okay.
Matthew chapter 12.
Okay. The verse I just posted in the chat room is John 6:45, telling you that the Most High gonna do the teaching. So what I'm saying is, what he's saying that you got to go to school. Well, I submit to you, did Moses go to school? Did John the Baptist go to school? It was the school educated people that was crucifying Messiah. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to school. I learned a lot because somebody went to school, and I went to their classes in prison and in school. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go. And at the same time, you can't turn your nose up because I didn't go and tell me I can't do what the Most High sent me to do when script back up that he gonna do the teaching. John 6:45, and also it's in Isaiah. But you ain't gonna find not one script. If you do, show it to me that the Most High said go to school to teach His word. Okay, where you going, brother?
Okay, I want to look at Matthew chapter 5, and what I want to look at this for is because today's the modern day scribes and Pharisees are these preachers that feel like they're above the people that have not gone to seminary school in order to rightly divide the word of the Most High. Yeah. And I want to read this scripture to show what the Messiah said about such things, and it's in red as well.
Okay, you said
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 20. He says, okay. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, ye shall not in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. So the reason I wanted to read that is, he said, for I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees. Because the scribes and the Pharisees of that time, they were holding people to a standard that they could not live up to themselves. They were telling people to keep laws, statutes, and commandments that they weren't even upholding themselves.
Right.
So what they were doing is they were looking down the nose on the so-called unlearned, which is what they called the Messiah as well.
Yeah, they said he was unlearned.
They said he was unlearned. So they would look down their noses on people that they considered to be unlearned, just like this pastor doing in this video. He looking down his nose on the people that he considered unlearned, but those same people that try to hold us to a certain standard that they can't even live up to themselves. So even though they have went to school and been taught all of these different ways to raise their voice here and hum over here and say, yeah, can you do it for me? You know, even though they know how to do all of those different things that they teach them in school, what have it benefited our community?
Right.
Because our pastors in our churches have been going to school ever since I can remember. But look at the effects that it has had on our communities. Have it been a detriment to our community, or have it helped our community?
It ain't helped.
Because if you look at the state of our people, we are worse off now than we were during the time of Martin Luther King, which is what they were speaking about on the video.
Right.
So all the seminary school teaching that all of these pastors in these churches have, what has it benefited our community? It has done nothing more than to further push us down into captivity, into slavery, than we ever have been before. Because even though our ancestors were physically enslaved, we are worse off than they were because we mentally enslaved.
Man.
But you know what? I'm gonna jump in here just a little bit, and I'm not necessarily in disagreement with what you're saying, but I think there's a lot more to it. The reason that our community is not better off has nothing to do with the education level of pastors. It has everything to do with the heart of the people, of the pastors and the men who are leading the community.
No, the statement that I made, I didn't say that we were in the condition because of the education of pastors. That's not what I said. What I said was, with all of the education that those pastors have received in the seminary schools, what has it benefited our community?
Right.
Like,
So
what's the difference in you being educated to teach the word and me being uneducated to teach the word if neither one of us have benefited the community as a whole?
Right. So there's I mean, there are a lot of, pastors that have been to school and have done a lot of great things in the community. But unfortunately, as our community as a whole, I think you're right, Brother Stefan, as a whole, we're not really better off. We are probably in a lot of real respects worse off. But I probably could name, like y'all could name, pastors who aren't educated, who are just as jacked up and messed up and everything else. And there are those who are educated who are just jacked up and messed up. They're just jacked up people with an education. And that's what I was saying. Really what matters is the heart of the leader. Now, I know for me, and again, I'm not taking any offense to anything anybody's saying, first off and foremost, because going to school and being called and equipped is a calling from the Most High. And Stefan, you know that personally, I have shared with you what I think about you just as a man of God and how well studied you are. I do think, I know from having been to school and gotten trained, and I was called and trained before I got there. If you go to school, it should be a calling. It should be because it is to advance the kingdom. Whatever we do, in the role as leaders should be because we are called to advance the kingdom and the purposes of our King. There are a lot of folk who just ain't doing that, and they running around with titles and this, that, and the other. But there is something to a person dedicating themselves to being equipped. Now, whether you do that, y'all haven't gone to school, and I think the world of each and every one of you, because I will tell you to your face, and I will tell anybody else, these Hebrew brothers I'm studying and working with and being with now, some of the most astute brothers in the word that I know. You all are more well-read than a lot of guys that have been to school. So really what matters is, how do you believe the Most High has called you to do the work he's called you to do, and how do you believe he's called to equip you? I know my calling is to be a moray and a college professor. So for me to be able to do what he's called me personally to do, I had to get the credentialing to be able to do it. Right? That's just what it takes. But I also want to go back a little bit and say that the greatest schools, Stefan, and I'm only saying this to you because, you opened up the conversation. The great schools of the schools of the prophets were in Israel long before we were ever in captivity. Gamaliel and them were studying. Those were black folk. Those were not Jewish people. Those were not Ashkenazi Gomer people. Those from the Caucasus Mountains, those were our brothers and sisters teaching, leading. Paul had, by the time he was 22, I think it is, history tells us that he had the equivalent of 2 PhD degrees. Mm. Yeah, that's just, Paul had that kind of education. And God, the Most High, sent him to uneducated people. Peter didn't have hardly any formal education, and he sent him to the educated Hebrews. See, we have to follow what the Most High's called us to do. And I don't know, I've never met Dr. Wright, Jeremiah Wright, but as I heard the conversation, and I know we need to hear the video more.
Yeah.
But the point I think, whether this is a point he was trying to make or not, you do what it takes to become equipped in the word according to what the Messiah has called you to. If you find that in going to school, go for it, because it's what he's told you to do. If it's do what brothers like y'all are doing, getting equipped. I know Stefan has introduced me to more books than most people I know personally. And and Mikael, I mean, the books y'all tell me about, I'm like, wow, I'm excited because I'm dealing with some men whose hearts are dedicated to their Messiah, to the Most High, to do what it takes to be equipped to do what the Most High has called them to do. Y'all, do you know y'all's library is more extensive than a lot of guys that have master's degrees? And I've got I'm just telling you, but it's so yes. And I want to make this distinction as well. There are, like the seminary I went to, one of the very best in the entire country as far as academics and everything. But there's something you get when you do sit in a class with people who are truly dedicated to studying the word. Now, I know that there are a lot of them that don't have the truth we have, but I'm telling you, I learned a lot. It added to me and my abilities because that's the calling in my life. But when you have a library like y'all have, Mikael brought up a book the other day when we were doing the lesson. I hadn't even heard of that one. So I can tell y'all that, and I probably got books y'all haven't heard of. I mean, I've read, and I'm not trying to just, we all have dedicated our lives to reading instead. The Bible says, study to show thyself approved unto Yah, a workman, rightly dividing the truth.
Right. But the reason why we're doing this lesson is not to condemn anybody for going to school.
That's right.
We're not condemning anybody for going to school. No. That's the reason why I said what I said before we started. I think that school is a great thing. I think that seminary school has its place in this truth. I'm not going against the people that have gone to seminary school. All praise to the Most High, because brothers like you can teach us stuff that you learned while you was in the school, the seminary school.
That's why. Yeah. That's why school was
we got scriptures like this right here in Mark 1. We got scriptures like this right here in Mark 1. The reason why we doing this is to encourage our brothers and sisters not to be discouraged, because all of our life we've been told that you have to go to seminary school. We're doing this to encourage our brothers and sisters to not be discouraged because you don't have a seminary education.
Right.
You don't have to have a seminary education in order to be able to rightly divide the word of the Most High.
Yeah, because I was dividing it rightly before I went to that school.
Right. Let's go to Mark 1, chapter 16. Mark 1, chapter 16.
Let me say something before you read, Hebrew. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Everything y'all said was well put. Now, I'm coming from a personal standpoint. The problem I have with pastors.
Yeah, that's the problem I have.
When we read this book and we see that we the people, why ain't they teaching it in church with all this seminary school degrees and all this? This is the problem I have with these lies being taught in the pulpit. He rose on Sunday. Book don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Keep the Sabbath. Why are we keeping Sunday? This is the problem I have with these guys, because I'm reading the same Bible you got, and you got all this education. But yet still, when young folks step up to the plate, it's trying to say, hey, look what I found out, Pastor. Look what they shoot us down. You can't tell me what to say, do, or teach me. I've been teaching 50 years, Negro.
But see, Michael, that's the thing I was saying. That's a hard issue. Like, I had that same thing. I had a pastor, loved him dearly, and I would bring stuff to share at church, and he would try to shoot me down. I didn't have no education at the time, but I was well studied. My grandfather was a college professor. My father was a medical doctor. So I've been well studied all my life. I didn't have to have it, but I do know that there are doors and avenues that the Most High will open up for you if you do have it, that he generally doesn't open if you don't. But the thing is, and I'm to your point, is, man, that's a hard issue. One of the reasons I said, you know what, I'm not going to let this brother, who I loved dearly at that time, still love him to this day, but I'm not going to let this person shoot me down because I'm coming, you know, with something I know that I've rightly divided. But because, you know, you just don't want me outshining you. That would have nothing to do with a real education. Just being able to rightly divide the word. He just didn't want me to look better than him. And so I said, you know what? I come from an educated family. My mother and father and grandfathers sweat, blood, and tears and all kinds of sacrifice. And I just said, for me in my own personal life, I'm going to get all that I can get, partly because of my family heritage. And I also know that, you know, like there are doors, like when I go speak at a lot of these large convention meetings, one of the reasons I'm able to go and do it is because I have a PhD, not because because I'm necessarily more able to divide the word better than you, but that credentialing does open up a door for the Most High to use me or use persons with that degree in a different way.
Okay, well,
Right.
well let me ask a question right there, bro, Galen. Okay,
Yes, sir.
like at these conventions that you go to and you have a chance to speak because of your credentials,
Yes.
are you able to teach the truth of the Bible versus having to teach what you learned in seminary school?
No, see, that's the thing. Once you get that degree, it's like what my wife always says, honey, when you get that degree, you have just as much ability and more as they do to say it. You can say as an expert, ABC equals XYZ. And guess what? I can argue with them. They can't, they have to listen to what I have to say. And that's why I'm not walking with them like I used to at all, because I have told them things and they get angry because I'm just as much or more educated than they are, and they know they can't say nothing against me. See, that's one of the reasons why I'm glad I have the credentialing. Because if I didn't have it, they wouldn't even let me in the door in a lot of those places.
What's the demographics of them conventions?
It's Mzungu land.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I tell them, you know, that you know from reading the scripture that the Sabbath is Saturday, and it's been like that since Genesis, and it's not going to change, and your replacement theology to say that it has changed with the resurrection of the Messiah, you know, is a lie. And I can stand toe to toe and say that to them.
But the scriptures tell us that we are supposed to, like, even in a setting like that, when we have the opportunity to bring the word to the Mzungus or to those other nations of people, we are to let them know their place. We supposed to let them know, hey, you Esau, you the end of the world. I'm Jacob. I'm the beginning of the world to come. See, if we gonna have those credentials and be able to be in those situations with the credentials that we have, if we not bringing out the truth, then what's the purpose of having the credentials to be in the situation?
Yeah. And you know, it's like, it's a heart condition, it's using wisdom, but it's also, you know, there's some folk, and you know, it depends on, to me in some respect, who and what has the Most High called you to. Mm-hmm. You know, if he gives you an and it's not just calling, it's also opportunities. Because Stefan, Mikael, Cortez, and your warrior, the Most High may put you in a place where, because of who you are and where you've been, you can really just tell somebody with a PhD what the real deal is. But that's taking responding to the opportunity and the calling that the Most High gives you. All of us are supposed to be able to do that. The main thing is, and that's what, like, you know, I was talking with you met Tim over the phone, Stefan, and I was talking to my sister-in-law and them, and you know, it's like, there are things, like right now, I'm preaching at North Shelby Baptist Church the next 2 Sundays. Now, the last time I preached, it was first Sunday this month. My deep conviction is to teach them the truth of who we are and whose we are and who they are and what the real deal is. Now, I told them, I said, I'm going to say some things to y'all in the next couple of weeks that had this been 30 years ago, I wouldn't be able to walk out of this place. I might not be able to walk out today, but I'm going to say it anyway. And they said, oh, Dr. Jones, we're going to, you know, with that. But when I got finished, you know, they heard the truth. They heard about the commandments. They heard that what they have been doing is living under the commandment of Constantine and not the commandment of the Most High and our Messiah.
That is dangerous.
That's very dangerous. That takes a man with some cojones, whether you got credentials. There are a lot of guys, I think part of the problem that Mikael brought up with, which he's right on, there are people that have the credentialing, but ain't got the cojones to say what needs to be said. That's really what it comes down to, too. You might have the truth, but are you willing? Are you going to be like Jeremiah and not be afraid of their faces?
Right.
That's what it really takes. And I'm telling y'all, pray for me, because I got some stuff to say to them this coming Sunday and the following. You know, they ain't going to like it. And I might not walk at it, but I'll be walking with the Most High.
We got backup. Send us. We'll go.
I might need y'all to surround the church for me.
but ultimately, I feel like at the end of the day, once we study this word, once the Most High opened up our mind, because the key to getting an understanding of these scriptures is keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
See, that's the key. Like, I can go to every school in this country that I want to go to, and they can teach me as much as they want to. But if I'm not keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments, he's not going to open up my understanding to these scriptures. That's just what I believe, because that's what I read in this book. That's why I believe it.
You know, and with all of this, you know, the next problem I got with you guys.
Yeah.
Look, what could my life be in right now if I known that we was the people of God and that we supposed to keep the Most High's laws? How better would our communities be? How much better our brotherhood and unity would it be if we would have known this stuff? You know what I'm saying? And they held it from us, and they knew it. Cause see, Brother Galen, I got 5 witnesses. The Most High put us against 5 pastors. I got a witness on the screen. Cortez, you on now? We went up against all 5 of them. And you know what they say? Everything y'all saying is the truth. But we can't say it.
Yes, sir.
What they say, Cortez? Tell them what they said.
One of them said he's been what do you say? He have to follow protocol.
What protocol?
He being backed by a higher power, and then he gotta follow protocol.
So the traditional man is a higher power than the word.
That's what he was. That's what he was saying. Because
I tied that in with Mashiach, the traditional men.
Because we asked him when was the Sabbath day, and he said Saturday. We said, okay, you know that. Why are you holding church on Sunday? And that's when he said that. And then the other one told us that the people wasn't ready for the truth. So we was like, who are you to withhold the truth, and how you know who ready and who ain't? That blood gonna be required at your hand because you withholding the truth.
And then one of them told me, let's just talk. Let's go off top of our head. Let's just put the book down. You all over them scriptures.
No,
okay, well, y'all.
Don't put the Bible down.
Let me say
Don't put the Bible down. That sounds like Darby. Don't put the Bible down. I know. Brother Darby said some questionable things, but I'm just focusing on the truth he did speak. I didn't agree with everything he taught. Let me just put that out there. But yeah, when you said that, put the Bible down, I heard that, Mike. Don't put the Bible down.
Well, let me.
In other words, you hitting him with them haymakers. He said, "Stop hitting it."
Yeah. Go ahead, Steph.
Let me say something right quick. I'm gonna tell y'all. I see these schools, and I don't know what y'all aspect of it. I see these schools as a threat. Number one, they don't teach who the biblical Israelites are. Number two, they is okay with white supremacy. Number three, they okay with whitewashing of the scriptures. I see the number four, they do not challenge this Romanized beast calendar that the Bible warned us was gonna rule the world. How you preparing people to meet the end and you ain't even challenging the beast? I'm done. Go ahead, Brother Steph.
No, go ahead, get it out.
I had to go and say that. I see him as a threat. You holding back. And this is warfare. What you holding back for? This is what holding back. You holding back the truth. You close the door to heaven. And you need to go in yourself. What Bible verse is that? You shut up the gates of heaven and you ain't going in yourself. That's a Bible verse. Let me find it. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna find that verse. I'll post it in the chat.
Well, see, what we have to understand as individuals on this platform, but we are one. We are unit. We all brothers and we all teachers on this platform, but we still all have lived individual lives. Like, Bro Galen experiences have not been our experiences, because I'm sure that he has been exposed to a lot of different caliber of people than we've been exposed to. And the things that we are at liberty to say, if he say those same things, everything that he don't work for his whole life could just be flushed down the drain overnight.
Yeah. And he can go places he can't go.
Exactly.
He can go, he can go places. You hear me? He can go places we can't go.
And we have to still use wisdom. Because the scriptures say agree with our adversary quickly.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that as well. But what I wanted to say a while ago is, when I was a deacon in the church, our church was a part of the Baptist Association of Lee County, Mississippi, Tupelo, surrounding areas. And as a deacon, I understood that our church had guidelines that we had to abide by that came down from the Baptist Association. If we didn't abide by the rules that was handed down from the Baptist Association, our church would be kicked out of the association, which would cause that church to lose a lot of funding. So with that being said, our pastor was going to do whatever they told him to do. He was going to preach whatever they told him to preach. He was a very educated man. Very educated. But he couldn't really teach the word of the Most High in its entirety and truthfully. He had to teach it the way they told him to teach it.
Yeah, let me say this, Stefan. Can I just see? Here's what my father in the ministry told me, Dr. Robert Smith. He said this years and years ago, before I even went to school. He said, "Son, you say," well, he didn't say me. He said, "You say whatever God said, but I'm gonna say the Most High." He said, "You say whatever the Most High told you to say at 11. If they fire you at 2, He'll pick you up at 6." And see, the thing is, too many people don't really walk in the freedom of having their own financial resources. See, I've always been my wife and I made sure that all our lives I had a job. I wasn't dependent on the church to pay my house note. So if I have to say whatever he tells me to say, I can go home and ain't got to worry if I'm gonna be living there in 2 weeks. See, like you say, a lot of these guys, they don't have that. That's why, man, like when I was talking with Warriors earlier, you know, man, part of my heart, and Stefan, you know this is how I am. Man, I want us, particularly us 5, to be in such a position that we don't have to depend on. I don't want to have to depend on Sanford University.
That's right.
I don't want Warriors to have to depend on the furniture factory. I thank God, Mikael, you know, your family has a business and y'all own them trucks, as far as I know. You know, but I want to see you, if that's what you feel the Most High wants you to come off that truck and be able to teach this stuff that you're talking about 24/7.
Ooh, that's a blessing.
You know, that's what I mean. Cortez, I want to see Cortez being able to do whatever the Lord's laid on his heart. I believe he said his name is, he goes by Hananiah because grace is in his heart. I want to see him do that. Whatever he's laid on his heart. The Most High has called us 5 to do some things. And each one of us has to play our part in our role. But those guys can't say what they say because they're dependent too much on, like you said, whatever that church is giving them. And I've never done what I did for money. I don't know if I told you this story, Stefan. I say Stefan because we and I have talked a lot more than me and other brothers. But my wife and I dedicated our lives to the Most High years ago. I remember one time these folks called us to come out and preach. It was about 45 miles from my house. Man, I was a social worker. I had no money. My wife had just come out the hospital. We had nothing. And we got in our little car. We rode there on fumes. And I was like, I found out there was a bank, you know, they were gonna give me a little check. And I was gonna cash that check, put some gas in my car, and drive home and praise the Most High.
What they give you, bro, Galen?
They gave me a gift card to go buy some books. and hey, and me and Kathy and I got back in that car. Now, I don't want to bring a whole nother subject, but we prayed in the spirit, out of the spirit. We prayed in tongues, out of tongues. And guess what? The Most High took us home on them same fumes.
Oh, praise it.
And tell them what happened when you got home.
The car ran right out again. Wouldn't even start up the next day.
Wow, man.
So I'm telling you from experience that my wife and I have gone places to share the truth of the Most High's word. And man, they ain't even done what they were supposed to. And he carried us all the way back and forth. But see, you have to have your heart made up. That's why I said earlier, it's a heart issue. If those brothers who have the audacity to say that they know the truth and don't teach it, I think, Mikael, as somebody said it, the blood of those folks who are lost is on their hands. I'm not going to live. I'm going to tell the truth. Now, I can't speak for nobody else, but I know that's where I'm living my life. And I know some brothers, man, they're trying to do what's right, but it's hard when you dependent on that paycheck. And I remember, man, I was a Southern Baptist convention denominational worker. And they were going through all these chats. They were people coming to work and they had a pink slip and a box and they gave you an hour to get out. And they said, Brother Jones, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna keep on doing what the Most High told me to do. He told me to plant churches. I said, you do what he told you to do. See, you're worried because you're here not based on the Most High's calling. I'm here because I'm called to it. And if they let me go, I'm gonna go straight home and the Most High is gonna pick me up. They fired me at 2, the Most High is gonna pick me up at 6. Do what he told you to do. And I have been sustained every day of my life. Hallelujah. Every day. I'm sorry, I got a little.
You good? Let me bring these scripts out. We're
Go
going to
ahead,
be in
brother.
Mark chapter 1. We're going to go. These type of conversations are tough conversations, but they build strength and character in the brotherhood. And it does the same thing for the people on our channel, like our family that's in the chat. See, these type of conversations have to be had because we're not the only ones that feel this way. It's other people out there that feel the same way that we feel, but they can't talk about it or they don't know how to express themselves in a way to be able to talk about it. Or a lot of times when you're dealing with religion, people will fight you, man.
You better believe it.
Hey, ain't it amazing if, like Brother, you get fired for teaching the truth, but they won't fire you for committing adultery and raping kids and the pastor. I'm talking about the preacher. That won't get you fired. But going against protocol, as they call it. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just thinking about that. Go ahead, Brother Stephen.
Okay, Mark chapter 1, verse 16.
Mark 1:16, okay.
Yeah. Now as we walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea. So these fishermen, for they were fishers. And Yeshua said unto them, come ye after me, and I will make you to become fishers of men. And straightway they forsook their nets and followed him. And he had gone a little further thence. He saw James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, who also were in the ship, mending their nets. These fishermen too. And straightway he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the ship with the hired servants and went after him. And they went into Capernaum. And straightway on the Sabbath day he entered into the synagogue and taught. And they were astonished at his doctrine. We talking about Joseph's son, the carpenter, what they called him. They call him ain't you Joseph's son? Ain't you?
Yeah. We know him.
What you doing knowing how to teach like this? But we know that this the spirit of the Most High. That's allowing the Messiah to do what he do. Okay? For he taught them as one that had authority and not as the scribes. See, these were educated men.
Yeah.
They was astonished at his teaching.
But look, though, he teaching with authority, though. I like that.
Teaching with authority. Authority.
They playing with the sword. He's slanging.
And there was in a synagogue a man with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, let us alone. What have we to do with thee? Thou Yeshua of Nazareth, art thou come to destroy us? I know who thou art, the Holy One of Elohim. And Yeshua rebuked him, saying, hold thy peace, and come out of him. And when the unclean spirit had torn him and cried with a loud voice, he came out of him. And they were all amazed, and so much that they questioned among themselves, saying, what thing is this? What new doctrine is this? For with authority commanded he even unclean spirits, and they do obey him. And immediately his fame spread abroad throughout all the region round about Galilee. So he called 4 fishermen. He's the son of a carpenter. He went into the synagogue on the Shabbat and taught with authority. So much so that the Pharisees said to themselves, who this Negro that he speak with such authority?
Yeah.
See, when you feel with the Holy Spirit of the Most High,
yes, sir,
and you operating in his laws, statutes, and commandments, he'll open these scriptures up to you.
Yep.
You will be able to read these scriptures and teach with authority. Now, I might not know the big words because I hadn't been to seminary school, but I can break it down to where a 3-year-old can understand it through the power of the Most High. Ain't nothing that I'm doing that's so good or that I'm special. It's all through the power of our Elohim that these things are done. Okay, let's watch a little bit more of the video because we didn't even get 5 minutes in. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead,
there might be some more parts.
It's going to be part 3.
All right, here we go.
50,000 Negroes following me. All right? So, no, it ain't what the theology of King, but then again, I mean, the theology of King, trying to answer you, that's one reason. That's one reason, all right? But to try to follow through, there's some other issues that's multi-layered in terms of the disconnect. Dr. Taylor also mentioned in the fellowship for him at Interdenominational Theological Center, what you said, Eugene, about the disconnect between Africa and African Americans. That's a long historical problem. And that goes back to the definition of the black church. When you say the black church, when we say the black church, we got to realize we're talking about a kaleidoscope.
I'm sorry, Brother Steph. That is part of it. Go back to the black church. But what about these slave Bibles? What about these cemetery preachers that the Europeans put in front of us? Reason why we got a disconnect from Africa. You see, he's not looking at that, or he refused to mention it. Y'all see what I'm saying?
Hey, but when he get through talking, this next bishop that's gonna speak,
yes, sir,
he gonna bring out all the points that you talking about right now.
Oh, okay, I only got to about halfway. You can tell I didn't get a chance to listen to all of it. You can tell.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
Reality in terms of theology, in terms of hermeneutics, in terms of training, in terms of what have become known as denominations, in terms of what it takes to start a church, what kind of church, turn your collar around, you got a church.
That ain't in the Bible, y'all. That ain't. Oh, I'm getting back on the. Okay, let the video play. I'm sorry, I didn't listen. I got about halfway through the video. Hold on. I can tell you laugh, but he gonna get that in the end.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you mean the black? Because to talk about perfecting, to talk about City of Refuge, to talk about National Baptist, Progressive National Baptist, African Methodist Episcopal, Christian Methodist, you're talking all over the map in terms of what is the black church. And there have been those different streams running through the definition historically since the 1700s and that are still there. There's also been a disconnect, as Eugene said it, between African Americans, but also between the living word that we hear on Sunday and the life we have to live on Monday. Kelly Brown Douglas says we can't talk about homosexuality because we can't talk about sexuality. So that there's that kind of perpetuated propagation of ignorance that goes on Sunday mornings that has nothing to do with the life I live on Monday morning. And it's not just in the mega churches; it's in the storefront churches that'll get me high for 2 hours, so I feel good, but then I got to go back into hell on Monday or Sunday afternoon. So that's why King had a large following of seminary. In fact, if you look at the guys and girls he surrounded himself with, that's one type of clergy that you do not find overwhelmingly standing in the pulpits of the African American pulpits in the year 2003.
Let me. I want you to know that as I ask this next question, I'm looking this way. I'm not trying to cast aspersion on anybody on this panel or the second panel. I mean that sincerely. But I'm looking this way because I want to pick up on something that Jeremiah Wright raises without casting aspersion on anybody on this panel or the one coming behind us. But Jeremiah Wright, you raised an issue about the fact that when we called King the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he sure enough was a Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Every black preacher I know wants to be called the Reverend Dr. So-and-so. I'm looking this way. Everybody wants to be called the Reverend Dr. So-and-so. Noel Jones, you are known as one of the foremost intellectuals in ministry in this country. Talk to me about the challenge that presents for the African American church when we have folk who are not trained in seminary, and whether or not that is, in fact, is Jeremiah right? Is that a requirement, given that so many of us believe that all you got to be is spirit-filled, and if the Lord speaks to you from on high, that's all you need on Sunday morning, Doc.
This Hebrew right here is smart. Listen to him, y'all.
What you say? He on point.
He's a very intelligent Hebrew man. Now, Reverend Jeremiah Wright, that brother is very educated. He's a powerful preacher. Yeah. He went to seminary school. Okay, this pastor right here is self-educated, through the Spirit of the Most High. And he's just as much a powerful preacher as the other pastor that went to seminary school. But listen to what he had to say versus what the other pastor just said. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay. Yeah, when he came in the video, I had to stop listening. Something come up, but okay.
Don't know
I noticed how he just chilling and waiting on his time too.
how much gratitude I want to show right about now, but
at least they won't say I'm playing favorites with my pastor.
Nonetheless, I think it's quite significant, the point that Dr. Wright is raising, and I think it's essential that we define the 21st century church, because from what I'm hearing, it seems as if the church is actually the black preacher.
The church is the black preacher.
It's from what I'm hearing, it seems as if the church is a black preacher, because the people in the pews don't set policy. The committees are losing their strength. And if you notice carefully, what has happened is when Pentecostalism became the leading denomination and the fastest growing denomination, it changed many dynamics in the whole traditional Christian, black African Christian world. What happens is the Pentecostals' primary objective was to think heavenward. If you were to consider the Apostolic Pentecostal in particular, you will notice that the greatest thing that a person could achieve was the new birth experience, the baptism in Jesus' name, the receiving of the Holy Spirit. Now, what happens there is that the focus immediately went to the other world, into getting into heaven. And the faith of the Pentecostal was, meet God, have a spiritual experience, let's get to heaven. The traditional church, on the other hand, dealt so much with those contemporary things that were mundane to operate their lives, that there was a problem between the Pentecostals and the traditional church, particularly when the Pentecostal church literally evangelized the traditional church, because it is out of the traditional church that many people went into the Pentecostal movement, and consequently there was a rift between both groups. The neo-Pentecostals, the charismatics, and the faith preachers, they came along and took the faith to get to heaven, and then they turned it into health, wealth, and prosperity. And so all of a sudden now, we're teaching faith that was originally Hebrews chapter 10, closing faith to salvation, and it becomes a now faith, the substance of things hoped for, of course, and the now was subject to subjective theology, and it now began to deal with the issues of being rich, having money. This further divided us, because now faith became an individual affair. So if you have the faith, then of course you can get whatever you want from God. So the church stopped dealing with the whole issues of suffering, because under that presentation, God will miraculously do things for you. So if you come down the aisle with $20 or $30 and I lay hands on you, then of course, immediately all of your trials will be over. Now, the thing that happens here is, because of this presentation, because every presentation needs theology to make it strong. If there's no hermeneutical substratum for this presentation, then of course now we're going to have a problem, because theology has to leave something in people's minds psychologically. And if you tell me that God is going to bless me by simply bringing something to you, and I don't have a plan, because when I'm preaching and I'm making that presentation, I have to have a plan. And the plan is if I've got 6,000 people out there, 3,000 will give me $25. But now, what is the plan for those who brought the money?
Well,
now understand this, and I'm in the middle of it myself. Understand this. When people bring money based on a theology that God is supernaturally going to respond, that eliminates the development theology that is necessary to make people change their lives. And once the presentation is made, people need opportunity. Now here's where opportunity comes. Because we don't have to ask committees anymore to decide who they want to be with. And we have even eliminated using denomination as titles for our churches. We don't call our churches particular Baptist church or apostolic church today. What we do is we give a name out there that everybody can come to that ministry and deal with that ministry, because we don't want to be slated denominationalism. We don't market denomination. We market individuals today. Wherever you go, the church is personality driven. It is not institutionally driven any longer. It's personality driven. So the wonderful thing about it, though, because it's not all pejorative, the wonderful thing about it is that you don't have to bring Baptist Methodists together. For instance, in my city, I don't have to have City of Refuge vote or decide to have anything to do with Faithful Central, vote or decide to have anything to do with West Angeles, or decide to do anything with Fame, because it's not institutionally driven. The churches don't have to come together, but Noel Jones ought to get together with Charles Blake, and Charles Blake ought to get together with Chip Murray, and Chip Murray ought to get together with Kenneth Ulmer and put all our monies in the same bank and make the opportunity for the people in our churches. Because money talks in America.
I'm mad at you. Let me. Noel Jones.
Yeah.
Bishop Jones. They used to call y'all, you forgive the phraseology, they used to call y'all poverty pimps, and now they call you prosperity preachers. So the vernacular has changed. I think that's a good thing, from poverty pimps to prosperity preachers. But Shakespeare asked the question, what's in a name? A rose by any other name would still smell just as sweet. Whether it's poverty pimps or prosperity preachers, there are a lot of folk who think there is too much focus, too much emphasis in the black church on materialism, on money, on gain. You heard what James Cone said earlier. Talk to me about that. And I raised that question only because I want to expand this conversation to talk about this phenomenon called the mega church. It seems to me, as one on the outside looking in, that one of the reasons why the mega church is such a phenomenon now is that we got people preaching every Sunday, you know, that if you do this, if you do that, if you give me this, if you do this, you can have all of this. So it's that prosperity message that I think is packing out some of these so-called mega churches. But talk to me about that, if you will.
Well, one of the things that's so wrong is that theology actually sets in the mind of people a certain psychological view of life, particularly in a church situation where there is so much influence coming from the man who is standing as the voice of God. And oftentimes it fails to deal with the real issues of suffering and the real issues of a problematic world and difficult times.
Hey, Roy,
This is why America had so
Yes,
much
sir.
difficulty dealing with
stop for 1 second. Okay, now let me bring out this point as well, because through study, we know that the keeping of records from the Most High started during the time of Adam and Eve, because we know that Enoch and his children studied the laws of the Most High, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, when was it? When did it become? At what point was it taken to this level of being? You had to go to a school to get it, because during that time it was a family tradition for the men of the family to read the scrolls of the Most High and hand it down from generation to generation, not only through verbal talks, but also through transcripts. I want everybody to answer that question.
When did it become a thing?
Yeah. When did it stop just being a thing handed down orally and through manuscript from father to son, and start being a thing that it had to be taught in schools by so-called theologian teachers?
I think it kind of started in the Babylonian captivity.
Uh-huh.
I think it's the kind of started there. It was beginning to start. But then the Greek captivity, the Greeks started putting puppets in place. But I might be wrong. Correct, brother Galen, he ain't here right now. Well, I don't know. Enlighten me, brother. Okay, Sister Kathy, I see you.
No, I'm asking the question. I'm not answering.
Research, when I've studied, it showed me it kind of started back in the Babylonian. They began to speak that we started drifting away from Hebrew and stuff right then. They start coming up with the different ways of, them little dots and dashes. It began to slowly infiltrate right then. And then the Greeks just took it to a whole nother level. And the Romans, when I say Romans, I'm talking about these people we see today. They put it on steroids. So it's been ongoing.
Okay, bro. Mikael left the panel.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I heard somebody come in. Let me see. Oh, there you go.
Hey, bro,
that was me. I had to take a call, gentlemen, about the land. So sorry about that.
That's okay. Handle your business. Hey, can you take a question right quick?
Yes, sir. Please.
Shoot him a question, Brother Stephen.
The question was, we know that during the time of Adam and Eve, through manuscripts, that they started taking down the laws of the Most High and handing them down, not only verbally, but also through manuscript, through Enoch, on up through the generations. At what point were the scriptures taken? At what point did the heathen nations get their hands on those manuscripts and start establishing these schools of teaching for their people?
Yeah, the first time it happened, I gotta remember my history. Would have been at the destruction of the library in Alexandria, which is in Africa.
At the Greek captivity.
Yes. So if memory serves me, if I remember my history correctly, I believe that was the first time, because that's Alexander, the quote unquote great, ran through that part. So he went from Macedonia all the way over to India.
Okay, that was during the time of the Maccabean revolt as well, right?
Yeah, Stefana, yes, I'm pretty sure that is that time.
After, yeah.
300? No, 300. Let's see, 300 BC, right?
Well, I know during the time of the Maccabean revolt, they were fighting against Alexander the Greek.
Yes.
So that was during the Greek captivity.
Yes, and so let's see, and then so probably that was probably the very first time. No. The first time that, well, it depends on how you want to look at it, because you go back to 725 BC is the first captivity for Israel, for the northern tribes. they were taken away. And then in 525 or 545, and I'm getting some of my dates mixed, but it was definitely in the 8th century and the 6th century that we were carried away 2 different times. It wasn't really, if you're talking about Japheth getting the text, it was when Alexander came through. But if you're talking about just other people of color, the Hamites getting it, it came, in those first 2 captivities.
Brother Galen.
Yes, sir.
Did they not start adding these dots and dashes during the Nebuchadnezzar, during the Babylonian captivity? You don't know.
I don't remember exactly. I do know that though, that the language itself, like the shirts you wear, that's an older form of Hebrew. But as the language itself developed, like most languages,
that's not the Paleo Hebrew. It's a
modern,
more ancient.
Yeah, because what the Messiah said in Matthew chapter 5, he said, "Not one jot, not one tittle will pass away from the law until all is fulfilled." Well, he was referring to all those little dots and little teeny lines and things like that went around all the letters. Okay. And so those things have, they're important. As the language developed, as the written language developed, those became important. So, because a little dot and a little tittle adds meaning to the word.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a
question that was running, that was running through my mind because, like, I remember studying the ancient texts and where it talked about during the time of Adam and Eve is when the first man started with the laws of the Most High, and they started keeping up, and passing it down through the generations, and it went from Enoch, and it went all the way through the flood with Noah, the manuscripts. But what I was trying to figure out was at what point did the heathen nations get it and start? I know the Greeks did a lot of it, and I was thinking that it was the Grecian captivity, because the Greeks stole a lot of our manuscripts, and of course they made it their own and flipped it around, and
right.
That's how it wound up being the way that it is today. But it was just a question that was running through my mind, and I was just figured that you might know.
Yeah, I think to me, from what I studied in history, the biggest steal came when the people from Eastern Europe, the Khazarians, stole that's when it really got, really stolen, and they started all that white supremacy and supplanting us for them and all that kind of stuff. And it really happened then.
That was during the time when we as Hebrews was at war with the Muslims on one side, and at war with those other nations of people on the Mongolians, I think. And we hired the Khazarians to help us fight, and they wind up turning against us and taking on our traditions as their own.
Yes, that's when I think that's when the biggest steal took place. But you see, a lot
of people don't know that those Khazars, those people, those Mongolian people, those people, we ran those people up into the mountains, like during the Dark Ages. Like, we ran those people up into the Caucasus Mountains, and we hired those people to help us fight against the other religions that was around us, and they joined on with those people and got strong.
Yeah.
And when
The
they
other thing,
ransacked us, they stole all of our manuscripts, like what you're talking about right now, bro, Galen.
yeah. See, in 70 AD, when the Romans ransacked Jerusalem, that's why they hid all those scripts in Qumran, because they were trying to hide them then. So, when you really go back, probably the starting of the big steal was real Alexander, but then the Romans, because you look at what they did, they ransacked everything. And then when Constantine in 325 AD declared, quote unquote, Christianity the religion of the Roman Empire, that's when, through all the Council of Nicaea, Council of Constantinople, I forgot all the ecumenical councils, but that's when they really started collecting up all of our books and putting them into becoming the Vatican.
Right,
so they have been stealing it slowly, really, over time. Also, go ahead, brother.
And they stole all of our manuscripts and turned around and set up schools to teach us our own manuscripts.
You can't make this stuff up. The truth is crazier than fiction.
They set up seminary schools to teach us our own literature that come from our forefathers.
But see, here's the other thing that they did. So back in the the first university, they were all, universities were started to teach the Christian faith. So they had those back then, and they were also mandated through the Catholic Church to teach the Christian doctrine over and above the scripts themselves. That's what it means when the Pope is called the Vicar of Christ. And so, the Pope really has, according to the Catholic Church, he is the representative of the Most High in the earth. And his word, when he sits down and he writes what's called a papal bull, and he sits down in what's called ex cathedra, when he speaks, it's as if God himself spoke. And if he says that the Sabbath is Sunday and not on, then now that's where, remember we talked about replacement theology before.
Yeah.
That's where that stuff started coming, those papal bulls. And, because Constantine declared that, that statement, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You know where that came from? That came from all of the believers outside of the city of Rome lived according to the Shabbat. They lived according to the law, statutes, and commandments. But if you came into Rome, you better do what Rome did. And so, you'll die. Or you'll die. You'll die. It wasn't just you'll die. And so what they started doing was they started making sure that when the Roman soldiers went out, they started establishing more churches outside of the city of Rome, so that the Roman influence would be what it is. That's where we're at today.
And just like that papal bull that you're talking about, that same Pope, the power from that Pope is what put our people into captivity. Because
you better believe
it. That Papa's bull is what was signed to say that black people were able to be put into slavery, that we were less than human.
That's right.
Y'all do with them what y'all want to.
Yeah, indefinitely.
Pope Nicholas.
Slavery forever.
Right.
Yeah, them paper bull, they nominated black folks to be perpetual slaves. Yeah, that's what they done. But
I asked that question because I wanted to establish that for the people in the chat. Those schools were set up. And, a lot of people say that's the white man book. That's the white man book. No, that's our book. But the white man was able to get his hands on our books and put himself up over us to teach us our own book.
And
if a person not going to treat you right, they sure not going to teach you right.
You sure right.
But let me say this, brothers. Here's something that the Most High has taught me a long time ago. I teach my students, and it's called providential superintendence of the Holy Spirit. And that's a big theological phrase that you can get when you get a PhD. That you can. What's happened is God, the Most High, has watched over His word so that no matter what they say or do, there are times when He forces them, even against their own wit, to write the truth in spite of themselves. I'll give you, for instance, one of my authors that I like, T. Desmond Alexander. He has a bunch of he's an Old Testament scholar. He's got a book called From Eden to the New Jerusalem. Man, it's a powerful little book. It's a biblical theology of how to see the connectedness of Genesis 1 through 3 with Revelation 20, 21, 22. Now, I can tell you T. Desmond Alexander has written something that it's just straight out, flat out the truth. And he's a heathen by birth. But he has written what is true.
Well, I got an example too, brother. I got Arthur Kessler that wrote the 13 Tribes.
Yeah, we got that one. And Shlomo Mintz.
The Most High put it on that heathen heart to bring out the truth. He didn't have no other choice, and he died because of it.
They killed him.
They killed him and his wife.
And the other guy, Shlomo, I think it's Shlomo Mintz. He was a history professor at Tel Aviv University. He wrote another book just like Kessler wrote. And they killed him too. The Mossad, they killed him, man. But the Most High preserves the truth because that's His doing. The heathen may want to co-opt all they want, but our Messiah, our Most High, has made sure that He preserves the truth, whether they want to or not. I'll tell you another one, Walter Kaiser, and I know Walter. He's got a book. Walter's written some really good books, and he writes primarily on the promised plan of God. Begins in Genesis 3:15, and ends in Revelation 22:21, and in the eternity. Now, Walter's really good writing. If you can a lot of times they'll write the truth, but they'll practice, this is hypocritical. They'll write the truth, but still go to church on Sunday. They'll write the truth and still eat pork. It's the darndest thing you've ever seen.
Wow.
But that's because the Most High. There are those who will tell you, the Messiah did away with the food law. That's a lie, and we all know it, and they really know it too. But because they want to go their direction and they want their church to be the ruling authority. But don't think that for a minute that the Most High hasn't made them still deal with the truth. Hey, I need to get ready to get something, but I want to say this. One of the things that I think is really important, and I'm going to call on particularly you brothers to contribute to this next book I'm going to write. I just finished my first book. It's a biblical theology of leadership dealing with Abraham. But I want y'all to consider contributing a chapter apiece to a book I'm writing on Hebrew Israelite theology. See, I've got a platform where I've got a publisher who has to consider manuscripts I send in. So I'd love to see Mikael, Stefan, Warriors, and Cortez write a chapter or contribute to that book. And you all having to do that is going to be a form of development for you as a man, as a theologian, as a preacher of the truth.
All praise to the Most High.
Just get with me. I can't speak for the other brothers. Sound like Brother Stephanie.
Yeah, and it's
I don't like the opportunity to do nothing for the Most High.
So it's going to develop your own minds, writing is fundamental. To be able to write is to really be able to take your well-reasoned thoughts from the Messiah and put them on paper.
Right.
That it communicates to so the people on the chat. How good would it be if we wrote that book for them to have those things, you know, that you have contributed to? Mikael, Stefan, Cortez, you know, Waryaz. You know, I might write the conclusion of the introduction and the conclusion. Y'all write the chapters in between, and we submit that as a manuscript. Now, see, because I have the credentialing I have, guess what? Somebody's going to have to read and say yay or nay.
Like I said, he can go places we can't.
And that's the positive part.
Yeah.
Of having a seminary education.
Yeah.
Right. Having that credential, you know.
Okay.
So,
okay. Bro, Warrior, you ain't finna go, are you? Bro, Galen?
You say you finna
go? I'm hungry, man. I know I'm not as spiritual as y'all. Y'all got food I know not of.
Hey, while y'all was going in, I was eating.
I ate before we started as well.
I'm gonna stay on about another 20 minutes.
Okay, let's
y'all go right
in. Solomon. One of y'all got your apocrypha handy.
Go where?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14.
Okay, I got one over here. Let me see.
Yeah, let's look at Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14.
Let me pull it up. Wisdom of Solomon 14.
And we're gonna go start at verse 9 and we're gonna read to the end, bro Warrior.
Okay, Wisdom of Solomon. Hold on, let me pull it up. Wisdom of Solomon 14. Yeah, I'll be listening. That book got some meat in now. It got some deep stuff in there. Wisdom of Solomon.
Yes, sir.
That kind of read like Proverbs. To me.
Yes, sir.
That might be, it might not to y'all, but it read like Proverbs.
It's the same author.
Yeah. Let me see. I know I had it up here. Okay. All right. You got it. Go ahead. All right. What verse?
Start at verse 9. If you can.
This is the Sefer. I ain't got the KJV. A lot of their words are translated the same as KJV. They just use Hebrew words.
I got the same one you got, but go ahead. Read it, brother.
Okay. Okay. For the wicked and his wickedness are both alike hateful unto Elohim. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the other nations shall there be a visitation. He visited in the idols. Woo! Because of the creature of Elohim, because in the creature of Elohim, they are before an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men and a snare to the feet of the unwise.
Okay, hold on right there. So, what are these idols and these stumbling blocks that Solomon talking about? All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
Oh, okay. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. And the invention of them, the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever.
Okay, so what are these stumbling blocks? We're gonna bring this thing home. We're gonna bring this thing up to the day. What are these stumbling blocks? You got homosexuals in your church. You got lesbians in your church. You got transvestites in your church. But you telling them, come as you are. You got the picture of Caesar Borgia up on your wall in your church.
Yeah.
That's an idol.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of you teaching Revelation chapter 1 and showing the people what the Messiah really looked like when he came in the flesh, because the scriptures tell us if you can't confess that Christ came in the flesh, okay, when he came in, if you can't confess when he came in the flesh, you can't enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So by you not being able to stand up in that pulpit and say Jesus was a black man,
Yeah.
And his skin was so dark, it looked like he burned in a furnace. In his hair, it was white like wool.
Yeah.
Like the hair you got on top of your head, black man, black woman, black boy, black girl. But
What's your nationality?
Right. So instead of you being honest about Christ in the flesh, you'll put an idol up on your wall and you'll allow your congregation to believe that Christ was a homosexual white boy. And you would teach that. That's a stumbling block, Hebrew.
Yep.
You're gonna be punished for that.
Yeah, that man. When I thought about the punishment, I'm like, ooh, I don't want no part of that.
You telling these people that's in your church, it's all right for you to be that way. It's okay. You can go have an abortion. That's all right. That blood on your. If you don't repent, you going to hell.
Right. With gasoline draws.
Another stumbling block they got, you know what I'm saying? The major one they love to use is the law done away with. That's a stumbling block.
Yeah. And you know what? It's one thing to come as you are, and it's another thing to promote that they stay as they are.
But that ain't even scripture. You can't find that in scripture nowhere. Come as you are.
You know,
that's not scripture. That is not scripture, bro.
And you know something, Mike? When you said that, I had a revelation. You wouldn't go to the doggone courtroom with your butt cheeks out. You wouldn't go up in there with, half naked, and if you do, they gonna tell you to get right. But when they come to church, you think they ain't supposed to tell you nothing.
Yeah, you heard him say the Bible said come as you are. That Bible never said come as you are. Ain't no scripture in that Bible say come as you are.
Good.
All right, keep reading, brother Warrior.
Okay. For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. For a father afflicted, here you go. Here go the Pope right here. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he has made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honored him as an Elohim, as a God, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Okay, so was done in the flesh?
Huh?
Did the Pope not do that in the flesh?
Yeah, I knew you wanted me to stop there. Yeah, he did that. That's what's up in these folks' churches now. Sissy bullshit. The Pope made an idol out of his son, and here you go right here, chapter 15, Wisdom of Solomon. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he has made an image of his, he commissioned.
Chapter 14, Hebrew. Chapter 14. You said 15, chapter 14.
I mean, verse 15. Okay. Yeah, correct me. People be trying to find. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he has made an image of his child soon, he commissioned Michelangelo to paint an image of white Jesus. And created white Jesus.
And you notice, warriors, when Solomon wrote this before this even happened. This plot actually happened, y'all. But go ahead, bro.
Okay. Taken away, now honored him as a Elohim, as a God. So the Pope had an image of his son created and worshipped, which was then a dead man. Is he not dead? And delivered to those that were under him in ceremonies and sacrifices. This whole Roman beast is worshiping white Jesus.
And he didn't get up either when he died.
Y'all, he ain't gonna get up. So y'all think that if y'all thought he rose from the grave, you're making a grave mistake, and you need to come out of the cemetery.
Hey, I like that. I like how you did that.
You making a grave mistake and come on out of the cemetery. We living over here. We eternally living over here.
The Most High say he's a God of the living, not the dead.
Not the dead. Let me. I know somebody probably can't see that. Let me. That's what you wanted me to bring out.
Yeah, keep reading though.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, I put that in highlight form. Thus, in process of time, a wicked custom grown strong. Christianity. was kept as a law, we said Sunday is the new Shabbat. And graven images, Mother of Mary, and all these other idols they got going. I'm probably getting ahead of you. I'm sorry, Brother Steph.
No, read, brother.
I'm probably getting ahead of you. This is what I see as I'm reading. And I know you done seen this. That's why you put me
Bring it out. Bring it out, boy. You're doing good. That's why we wanted you to read it. Go ahead.
Graven images were worshipped by the commandments of King. Okay. Now, y'all commandments. You either had to worship this or they put you through torture stuff. Can I show y'all something?
Then bro Galen just get through bringing that out a while ago when he used that analogy when in Rome, do as the Romans.
Yeah.
If you didn't do it, if you didn't keep the custom that they kept, what would they do? They kill you, man.
Yep.
It was the same thing up under the Grecian captivity during the Maccabean revolt. That's why they were fighting them, because they were killing them because they wouldn't eat the pig.
Look at this. Can't nobody come. Look, stick it. Look at what this is at. In the man rectum. You was either gonna do what they said right over here, Wisdom of Solomon, or you gonna suffer.
Hey, warrior ass. Let me tell you this.
Most of these people.
That picture you have on there, that's what they did to the brother. That ought to be a black person instead of a white person.
They did this to us. They didn't do that to us. Go ahead, brother.
I'm saying they did that to us, and they would take the women, and they had one that was smaller, but they would put it up their vagina.
Dirty dogs.
Lower them down until it went all the way up through them.
Now look, they was claiming it was illegal to do water torture to ISIS, or was it Al Qaeda? Look, wait, look, water torture right here in the church. See, when I see stuff like this, man, I be looking for somewhere to. I'm gonna be quiet. Hey, y'all know Mashiach when he beat them folks at the temple. I'm looking for a whip and some butts to beat at the temple. You know what he did? I'm telling y'all, righteous indignation. These darn devils. Look, who sits down and think of this? Man, if you gonna kill a man, go and do what you gotta do. Give him a brick shower. Whatever.
Hey, when you get through reading that, you can find what you talk about in Mark chapter 12.
Okay. Look at this stuff, man. Darn devils. Look at that. Look at that. There go your clan right here, family. Here go your clan. The boys in the hood.
Look at the one standing over there to the left, right there in the back. Look at them. Got their priest clothing on.
Yeah. What are you taking notes for? Let me see. We can put that in the playbook. That worked pretty good.
You know what?
What do you need to take notes for, y'all?
Oh man! At what level he hollered the loudest? That's what he writing down.
Man, and I'm telling y'all take this white image off that wheel and put black folks there. I'm telling you, watch that. Y'all ought to watch that Reclaiming the Throne. Have y'all seen that?
You got to watch it. You got to watch all three of them. I'm telling you. You got to watch all 3 episodes of that Reclaiming the Throne.
It was on Tubi. Right there.
Yes, sir.
It's on Vimeo too. Yeah. Y'all gotta watch that. But anyway, I ain't trying to show the trailer. But it was on Tubi. I'll check right quick, but nevertheless. Man,
yeah, it was on Tubi. We saw it last week.
Look at this. Put black folks right there. They whitewashing everything. Hey, darn folks. And here we is. We done been sexually. And then think about these sexual sadists. These folks that like to dress up in masks and whip and play like they getting abused. Look, y'all. Oh, okay.
No, that's for the end. I want you to say that, bro, Warrior. I just
okay.
Don't worry about that right now.
Okay. I thought I did something. Yeah, but let me. Yeah, you said a Bible verse. What Bible verse? You want me to finish reading, or what you want me to do?
Yeah, finish in Solomon, Songs of Solomon.
Okay. Darn devil, man, this got me fighting.
Wisdom of Solomon.
They're doing this. They're still doing it. And still doing it. Okay, what was I at? Okay, command worship. Okay, let's start at 16 again. Thus, in the process of time, a wicked custom grown strong was kept as a law. Either you gonna keep it or we showed y'all what you was gonna get. And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings, whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt afar off. They took the counterfeit. Look, just think about this. Colonization, missionary work, missionary line, whom men could not honor in presence. They couldn't be there. I see missionary work right here because they dwelt afar off, the four corners of the earth. They took the counterfeit of his visage all far. I might be reading it wrong. No, they took the counterfeit of his visage. This is his image, the image that they made of his son, right?
Yeah.
From far, and they took it everywhere and made an express image of a king whom they honor. They what they tell us? White Jesus is king.
King of the Jews.
Yeah. To the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him who that was absent, as if they were if they were present, if they were there. Okay. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer. Okay. Also, the diligence of the artificer, I guess the one that making the artifacts, did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition. For he, perchance, willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. So they getting the best image that they can get. Am I reading that right? Y'all correct me.
They dressing it up. They dressing it
up. Also the singular diligence of the artificer, being the one who made it, did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition, meaning they added more to the fairy tale.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They made it more spooky or more superstitious, as the book just said.
Okay.
As they went around. You know what I'm saying?
Bring it out.
It's just like in the Hebrew neighborhood right now. You can say, man, I seen Bro Stephen over there. Now me and my wife could have been outside mowing the yard, and I told her, go on in that house, I'm gonna mow this yard, get out the way. Ah, yeah, he was out there in the yard choking his wife the other day. I seen it. Girl, you should have seen it. Same. They just add to the story.
Yeah.
You know how black folk do.
Yeah.
They add to the story.
Yeah. Lying and going on.
Yeah,
man, he was choking and dragging around the yard. Man, I called the police on him. Next thing you know, the next person tell it, I went to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was in jail. He turned water to wine. I saw Willie turn water to wine. In jail. We was in cell block C.
Yeah, Reclaiming the Throne still on Tubi. I just checked. It's still on Tubi. Reclaiming the Throne. Yeah. But okay.
All right, verse 19. For he pre-adventure willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. So, in other words, he went out his way to make this image more beautiful than what it really was, what his son really looked like. You get what I'm saying? He went out his way to make him blue eyes and blonde hair. Let me read that again. For he peradventure willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion.
Witchcraft.
And so the multitude allured by the grace of the word. Oh, it's Jesus.
Remember the
He keep looking at me. Who is that? White Jesus. He keep looking at me. Oh,
remember the black folks crying over white Jesus?
Yeah.
That's what I thought about when you did that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so the multitude allured by the grace of the word took him now for a God, which a little before was but honored as a man. And that's the E.
Yeah, he was the son of a king.
All praise to the Most High.
Yeah.
Right? crank that video back up, Hebrew. Man, we definitely gonna have to have a part 2. We already at 2 hours, man.
Yeah. Okay, crank that video and roll that footage. Let me see where I'm at right here. Okay.
Yeah, hair blowing in the wind. That's right.
9/11. And 9/11 forced so many Americans to even question the existence of God, simply because they were not.
Why y'all listen to this crybaby?
That other
This
people.
the same asshole that was crying on the video I showed. What? Did y'all prophets tell us the COVID was coming?
Huh?
Why y'all? This the same crybaby that we had on that was crying about his prophets lying to him.
His what was lying?
His prophets.
Oh.
Why did you prophets tell me? The people want to know. Why did you prophesy that this thing was coming? That's how you crying. Why did you prophesy that it was coming? They're so hurt that they come to me and want answers and I can't give them nothing. Nothing. Can we get a video? Go ahead, man. Play the video.
I will point out to you the significance of truth. And again, much of the problem, the prosperity preaching, and even preaching period. And I think the question has to be asked, if you can't preach it in Somalia, is it gospel? Because oftentimes we have preached Americanism for the gospel. There are no lotteries in Zimbabwe. And so you can hit it rich in America quite easily. But most of the time when people have made money and make it rich in America, there was a plan somewhere. There was a check in the mail, but the check did not come from heaven. It came from some specific place, and certain circumstances allowed that money to come that way. And oftentimes we have made ourselves rich simply preaching this hocus pocus gospel, and we have not developed the individuals to go after the opportunities that are before them. And so consequently, we have a backlash, because I go throughout the world and people will tell you, I gave in every offering. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. And I'm still struggling to meet my rent. I'm still having a hard time making my car payment. But the bottom line is, when you should have followed the stream of opportunities, you were out partying and doing a whole lot of stuff.
Dang, so hold on, Hebrew, stop. You hear what he just said? It wasn't what I told you that I was lying, preaching this false doctrine of tithing and prosperity that I was teaching. It was your fault because you was out there partying and doing all these things.
No,
Did you say?
I didn't catch
Mike,
that.
No, Hebrew, that ain't what he's saying. That ain't what he's saying. What he's saying is, because of the prosperity preaching of these mega churches, people are in a situation to where they can't pay their rent and make their car note. But he's giving an example of what they're being told by these mega preachers.
Okay.
Yeah. He not saying that it's their fault. He's saying that this is what's going on with this prosperity doctrine. He talking against the prosperity doctrine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But he's also saying, and I agree, Stefan, but he's also saying that, you know, people have to take some responsibility to not be out partying all night. You know, just because you gave your money at church, you can't be so foolish as to go out and party all night and do what you want to do and think somehow through this prosperity message, you're going to get the windfall of heaven.
Yeah, and he's saying, like, as pastors, he's saying that they need to stop.
That's right.
These people, if you give your 10% out of your check, then
That's
miraculously right. God gonna make sure all of your bills get paid.
Yeah. So then they go out and spend their money on foolishness because they think God gonna send them money from heaven.
Right, because they paid their 10%.
Yeah.
And that's what they being told. You pay your tithes, the Lord gonna make sure all your bills get paid.
My parents told me that. You pay your tithes, the Lord will bless you abundantly. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something.
But he also saying what Brother Galen's saying, like, you can't listen to these pastors telling you if you pay 10% of your money, then you can squander what little bit you got left, and then miraculously God gonna pay your bill. Because you go out and spend your last $40, your last $80, and your light bill $75. You go out to the nail shop and get your hair done, and now because you paid your 10% at church, you think that a blessing gonna fall out of heaven to pay that light bill, because he's not.
See, that's spookism. They just make it's spookism. It's a spook. What I mean by that, it's superstitious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't walk around that. Don't split no pole. God will split your ass. I mean, split your behind. Shit like that.
Step on the crack, it'll break your back.
Break your mama back. So you just give me all your 10%, and the Lord gonna bless. Man, I'm telling you, man, it's a doggone mess, man. That's why it's hard for people to see the truth, because they believe in spookism.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to add too. See, everybody don't read their Bible, and I know that because all of us on this panel, we read our Bible and we study to show ourselves approved, and we're not easily misled by anybody just telling us anything. But brothers, it's people that's out here in this world. It's a lot of them, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be so many multi-million-dollar preachers in the world right now. They believe what these people say. They take that stuff literally.
You so right.
I mean, why not take it literally? If you believe you step on a crack and you break your mama back, you done broke your mama back many times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just you know what I'm saying? You know the church is superstitious, or they believe in that man. If you supposed to believe in the Most High God, why is you having trumpetry at your church?
Man,
why is you doing Easter egg hunt? See, that's spookism. That's fables.
That goes right into that Wisdom of Solomon, that chapter 14.
Yep, chapter 14.
That superstition. What is it? Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want anybody listening to misinterpret what we're saying.
Right.
Because can the Most High and will the Most High give you a blessing? Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Can he do all things above and beyond and abundantly? Yes, he can. But you got to be a good steward over what he give you.
Yep.
All praise.
You can't listen to all these smooth sayings and these people that got a good singing voice that can get up there and make bumps stand up on your arm.
That's emotion. That's spookism. That's exactly what. That's emotionalism.
If you don't give 10%, God gonna strike you down. See, they spooky. Spooky.
Will a man rob God?
They robbing them right then when they say that. Some of them.
I you know what they say? What a man robbed God. I robbed the pastor because my mama told me to pay that $20 church. I kept and went to the skate rink.
All right, bro, warrior.
Okay. Rolling
that's
on
when
one.
That's when I didn't know God.
Rolling on one.
This sermon is not going to change the outcome of your life. You have to sow positively, and ministry must put people in the frame of mind that moving from one stage to the other is a process. There is no quick fix to our situation. And so consequently, it allows people to feel the stimulation of discipleship. You have to be a disciple in order to move from one place to the other. Most of the fellows who made it rich in ministry are disciples of their ministry. I mean, they work on it night and day. I have 5 million miles on American Airlines alone. I lost a wife running after ministry because everybody can't sit around and have you gone all the time. Oh, I might as well be real with it. We have gone after this stuff in a way where we are driven. We are driven beyond the norm. And all of a sudden now we're presenting a gospel that is to people no discipleship. Jesus had his fellas for 3 years. We want to just wake up and get called, and then we spiritualize every text. One man said, the Lord spoke to me. So he opened his Bible and he pointed to the scripture, and it said, Judas went and hung himself. He said, well, let me try this again. He flicked it open, touched the next one, and the scripture said, go thou and do likewise. He said, well, the baseball players get 3 tries. So he opened it again, he hit it again. That thou doest, do it quickly. There has to be some hermeneutics to our presentation.
But Bishop, let's be real about it. Since you said you want to be real, there isn't a lot of hermeneutics to the theology. What we get on television from these prosperity preachers, what we get in our pulpits on Sunday mornings from these prosperity preachers, is that God told me to ask you to put $100 in the offering this morning. And
you know what? Get to Ezekiel 13 right there.
Me to tell you.
What you said now?
You might well go get to Ezekiel 13, crunk up. So that go right there. What we read earlier. Yeah, go back to about 1 minute. What did he say? God told me to tell you to sow a seed.
I had a dream.
Yeah. Sister Onika, God told me to tell you sow a seed of $800 to the ministry. Cash App scrolling on the bottom of the screen.
He said, wind it back about a minute.
Mm-hmm. Brother Gaylor, I need you to sow a seed of $90 million.
I see you rubbing your hands together down there, Mike. You got a plan, though.
Say what, Hebrew?
You got a plan. You rub your hand down there. You see all that?
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just giving an example because
I know it.
I see the word of the Most High coming to my mind when he said what he said. Brother Tavis Snyder, what he said. Ezekiel 13 came to my mind. You know what I'm saying? You get bombarded on TV.
I have a dream. I got a dream. I got a dream.
You get bombarded at church about this prosperity doctrine. I mean, that's the norm today. It's prosperity, and then look what we at now in our community. Our community ran down. You know what I'm saying? We got prostitution in the streets. We got murder in the streets. But the church ain't doing nothing but collecting money, hands over fists.
You got down here where I'm at, it's almost a church on every corner. Almost.
But no, Hebrew, y'all teach too much hell and damnation and fire. Can't tell people they going to hell if they don't repent. You can't say that.
Hey, y'all know there's judgment's coming. Not only judgment's here. You know Pastor John Gray? Y'all know who that brother was?
Yeah, put him on the screen. Put him on the screen there, brother.
Man, that brother is on his deathbed.
Oh, here he is right here. Go ahead.
He is on his deathbed right now because of some sexual immorality and all that money and stuff he was getting. The Most High has put him on his deathbed.
Every time he cheat on his wife, he'll go before the church and say it was because he was molested when he was a child. And
bought her a Maybach so she'll shut up.
We played him earlier. Yeah, we played him earlier. Yeah.
Bro, he been cheating a while.
So the Most High put him on the deathbed?
Yes, sir.
Is that who Weldon was talking about?
They've been asking for prayer. He's got pulmonary embolism. He is dying right now. The matter of fact, what we understand, he ain't gonna make it.
What is
Let's
that?
What? Yeah, can you dumb that down to the country?
Me, I don't know what it.
Yeah.
What does it mean, Brother Galen?
Yeah, what's
that now?
Pulmonary embolism.
What's that?
Oh,
yeah, what's that?
It's a blood clot in his lungs.
Ooh.
Oh.
Consumption of the lung.
Oh, Shahakit. Hey, Brother Gaylor, you say he got what in his lungs? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. You say he got what in his lungs?
A pulmonary embolism.
All right, y'all talk. Hold on, let me get this up on the screen. You just talk for a minute. Talk to her. Hold on.
I left off that.
Hey, brother Josiah said, did he take the shot?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shahakat.
I noticed right after that, people got through taking this little stuff, these little shots. Crime just shot through the roof, man. Y'all notice that?
They losing their mind.
Young folks start, dropping like flies.
Chicago really got ramped up then, didn't it?
But look, but you know what? I think the white supremacists doing Chicago. They don't never find nobody, and they got cameras everywhere. You mean to tell me you can't look at the vehicle that was in a Pacific? You can't stop the cameras that's on every corner and look at the time frame of what time somebody was shot to scan all the vehicles that went through these intersections.
Whole truth. You speaking the whole truth there, brother.
Man, I believe white supremacists doing that.
Now you tell me, what gang member have you ever known that will walk up to a 9-year-old girl walking down the sidewalk and shoot her in the back of her head?
I don't know now.
Ain't no gang member.
When we coming for a reason. When I say we, because I'm
gang member doing.
I've been with the guys. You know what I'm saying? You hear me?
Every gang member I know love children.
Yeah, you sure right.
Children.
And you get caught messing with them, you might get stomped out.
That's right.
Tell them your wife.
You're going to be reading the bottom of some shoes.
That little bitty girl walking down the sidewalk in Chicago a couple weeks ago, somebody come up from behind and shot her in the back of the head.
White people doing
it. My wife.
That's the only profession where you could not do your job and still get paid.
Yep.
You get paid for not doing your job.
Have you saw the video of the police officer that was in that school where that last shooting was at, looking at his phone while his wife was in there getting shot?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
He was texting on his phone while the gunman was in the school.
Ain't no way. If I know my wife in there, I'm going straight to it. They can fire me or do whatever they got to do.
Yep.
His wife had texted him and told him she was shot.
Man, I wouldn't be standing there, man.
Man, that man was standing there holding the phone. Looking at the phone.
Standing there all calm. I don't know what kind of man.
They were told to stand down.
He should have been the first one in line.
They was told to stand down.
I don't care that man. That's my wife.
I know that's right, brother.
She died, I died.
Yep.
Stand down, nothing.
I know that's right, brother.
A doggone woman off the street. A woman off the street went in there and got her kids. No training, no weapon. Off the street.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Listen to this. Listen to this, y'all. This is Leviticus 26:16. I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemy shall eat it. Now watch this. This word consumption means in the Hebrew, shaheket. All right, here it is. Check this out.
Strong's H 7829. Shachefeth.
All right, this word means in the Hebrew, brothers and sisters, the biblical outline biblical use is consumption, wasting disease, a wasting disease of the lungs. So, Brother Gaylor, what he's suffering from?
Exactly what you read right there.
Consumption, wasting disease. What's the scientific European term? What he got?
Pulmonary embolism.
And that is a consumption, brothers and sisters, a wasting disease, a disease of the lungs. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing.
That's why the Most High say in the commandments, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Mm-hmm. And his wife better get it straight, or she's gonna be like Ananias and Sapphira. Well, if y'all heard me or not.
Yeah, we heard.
Okay.
What his wife in sin?
Well, you know, Mike, she's a sympathizer with sin. So, you know, he'll go out and cheat and act crazy and then come back in front of the church and say, well, I was abused when I was little, and then buy his wife a car or something, and she go right along with it. That's sympathizing with sin.
He bought her a Lamborghini, didn't he? He bought her a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Every time he do something.
he bought her a Lamborghini.
Yeah. And then people in the church act like that's okay, because well, it's up to her to forgive him or not. Well, if she got a choice to forgive him or not, but it ain't up to her, it's up to the Most High.
Right. Why they didn't sit him down? What the Bible said? The Bible said sit him down, don't it?
That's what it say.
Okay.
Who gonna sit him down? He the top dog.
Well, you leave. You sit him down, everybody leave. Well, his money done dried up. His river done ran dry.
And brother, I'm gonna show y'all something too. They go back to what that dark-skinned pastor was saying at the beginning of that video. You remember there was a time that every church had a deacon board. Every church had these committees that would hold each other accountable, including the pastor was held accountable for their actions. See, that's the reason why nowadays they done away with all of that. Now,
hold on, Cortez got a testimony.
Ultimate power.
So what you said, Stephen, brother Cortez got a testimony. Well, he can tell you about that. What you said is true. Every church had a deacon board. They had a trustee board, usher board, all choir board.
I'm getting bored.
Yeah,
no, they ain't doing nothing.
Hey, Cortez, what that pastor tell them folk when they finna sit them down? I get Cortez, he can't hear me. But yeah, this pastor said, he ain't going nowhere. Now y'all messing with my money. That's what he told me.
He said y'all effing with my money.
He think he's a pimp? What is he, a pimp?
Yeah.
He's now y'all effing with my money.
Woo.
All right, crank that video back up, Hebrew.
That was Mike. That was uncanny what you just did. That consumption. People have to see these curses, huh?
I said, all praise to the Most High, bro.
People have to see these curses. They're gonna fear the Most High. We're gonna teach them. The Bible tells us to teach the people to fear the Most High. That's you want to be safe. That's it.
Keep the law, statutes, and commandments.
Yeah, you go.
I mean, that's what you see right now. You know, this man-made stuff that's out here that the Most High using the healing to put terror up on the earth. This consumption. What is it? What is this stuff doing?
On that, Mike. We did a whole lesson on that word.
Right. This consumption that's consuming individuals. And then they got so scared and lack of faith and ready got the solution. They still catching it in the laws.
And with this new variant that's coming out, they said that mosquito bite, it ain't gonna have no bearings on this new one. It's gonna be just like they ain't never got it.
Yeah, you know what else I see today too? I forgot to tell you, brother Stephen. Guess who's stepping down as the he's stepping down. Fauci stepping down. He said he's finna retire. He's stepping down.
He don't serve. Guess why? He don't serve this purpose.
They got too many receipts on Fauci. His hand is in the cookie jar of making the solution. So how you gonna have your hand?
Purpose.
Yeah, huh?
He don't serve this purpose.
Yeah. How you gonna have your hand in making a solution and then telling people they gotta take it?
Hey, just like Obama, he came through for his 8 years. He did what they had for him to do. He did Satan's job.
Yeah.
He legalized this LGBTQ mess.
Yeah.
And he didn't do nothing to stop these abortions.
Didn't do nothing for us.
So hey, he served his purpose. Now look at him.
Yeah. I don't
They
worry
only
about him.
they only bring them out during election season now.
They might as well put him back in the kennel. Cause black folks really ain't feeling him.
We ain't feeling nobody no more.
That's right. We're gonna feel his
I hope
words.
everybody got enough sense to stay at home when election time comes. Stay at home.
Yeah.
This them heathen nation. Let them.
No, brother Steph. You wrong because our ancestors, they fought to die to vote. They fought.
The word of the Most High say that we not supposed to vote to put no heathen up over our people. So if it's not a Hebrew, you ain't got no business out there voting for him anyway.
Well, no Hebrews, brother Steph. We Gentiles. See, you wrong, brother. We Gentiles.
I know it. So is. I'm just as much as a Gentile as them heathens over yonder in Jerusalem is Jews.
Now you know some of y'all gonna sneak out and vote for Trump quietly as it's kept.
If I could vote, I wouldn't vote for neither one of them.
I know that's right, brother. Devils.
Man, you think I'm finna go out and vote for anybody? Man, I'm staying my butt at home.
If black people in America got any type of pride or any type of self-worth or any type of, like, if you got anything in you, any ethics or anything, you wouldn't go out and vote. Man, look at what these people have done to us. And hadn't done nothing for us. Why would you go vote for another demon?
No,
I'm voting for a lesser evil. Ain't no damn such thing as no lesser evil.
That's right.
Evil is evil. Evil is good. Therefore, evil is
I ain't Eddie Murphy. Yeah.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Just like Deacon Rowe went down there the other day and bought himself a $2 hoe. Ain't nothing wrong with him going down there buying him a $2 hoe. Hell, sometime I go get me a $2 hoe. That's what the preacher said.
They might as well be preaching the same sermon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself for a minute. I'm gonna tell these folks on this other platform to come on over. I'll shoot them the link. Okay.
Start the video back up.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
Everybody mute their phone.
Tried this again. He flicked it open, touched the next one, and the scripture said, "Go do likewise." He said, "Well, the baseball players get 3 tries." So he opened it again, he hit it again. That thou doest, do it quickly. There has to be some hermeneutics to our presentation.
But Bishop, let's be real about it. Since you said you want to be real, there isn't a lot of hermeneutics to the theology. What we get on television from these prosperity preachers, what we get in our pulpits on Sunday mornings from these prosperity preachers, is that God told me that to ask you to put $100 in the offering this morning. And that if you do that, the Lord told me to tell you.
Because people are looking for a quick fix. It's like.
I done messed up. Y'all hold on, bear with me. I don't know which one of these links it is.
The 911 number with all the sorcerers and all the people who are going to read palms. That stuff was sent straight to black people. Because oftentimes we want a drug, and the church becomes a drug, where we can preach, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and people just subscribe. But that's not the way it is. You have to have discipline. You cannot overlook the principles of God and God go against his principles and make you rich. God is a God of principle. That's why medical science works. That's why aviation works. That's why you can put a boat in the ocean and it goes across the sea, because there are principles. And people want to bypass principles because they lack discipline. And the preacher wants to get rich on the ignorance of the people. You got to turn around and tell them the truth so that the only Bentley in the driveway is not yours. You got 20 out there.
Very frankly, and to the point, is it money well spent? There's a big debate ongoing in our community about the millions upon millions upon millions of dollars that we spend building buildings. James Cone raised his point earlier that money we spend building buildings. There are a lot of folk in this audience, and I'm sure watching us around the country and around the world, who question, and I'm just asking the question here, who question whether or not it is money, Jeremiah, right? Bishop, you can get in on this in a minute. Jeremiah, if it's money well spent, as opposed to spending that money on programs and on services. We walk over homeless folk in some of these cities to get into the church. Is it money well spent?
I must point out that you have to go back home, and your pastor said he wants to answer that. I just want to point that out. You got to go back to your pastor. And you said,
right after you.
You said you don't care, Bishop Jones. Let Jeremiah Wright answer that. You will hear from him when you get home. Paul Morton said, if we don't have no authority, then what are we leading? If your flock ignores you on national television, I do that. You need a disciple with some principles. You have an unprincipled disciple over here. Having said that, again, we are playing with Jell-O and it's slippery all over the place. When you say, just picture this as a congregation or a gathering of the elders from Judaism, Hasidic Jew, Reform Jew, Conservative Jew, Jewish rabbi women. You got a multiplicity of definitions there. Yes. So just remember, we're all over the place. Some churches, yes, it's being spent well. Other churches, of course not. Some churches, there are no Bentleys in the driveway. But as Paul Morton said,
I totally disagree. I'm gonna tell you why. That's another problem I have with these cemetery schools. And I'm not disrespecting anybody living right. I'm not disrespecting y'all. Whoever went to college, I'm not there now. Widows and orphans. You read the book of Acts. It wasn't no one person accumulating all this money. This is the foundation of the church, as they call it. It wasn't nobody accumulate. They didn't give all the money and give it to Paul, Peter, and whoever was teaching. Everybody that the money was equally whoever had need and evil. Who they appointed who that they appointed they to put in what somebody who died.
The scripture said that.
Go ahead, brother.
Disciples. And the disciples distributed those.
You fading out, brother. Repeat yourself.
Of the people. And if you remember, Paul even bragged to the church at Corinth that I ain't never took nothing from y'all. Y'all ain't never gave me nothing. Even when I came here, I provided for myself. You remember in Corinthians when Paul was talking to them people at the Corinth church?
Yeah.
See, Paul didn't take nothing from nobody. For that reason, you ain't going to be able to throw nothing up in Paul's face. Because, see, Paul came to do the work of the Most High.
Yes, sir.
He wasn't concerned with material things.
Yeah. And look, just think, all these homeless folks, and people actually think it's the government responsibility to take care of widows, orphans, and the homeless. That ain't biblical, family. And the churches ain't teaching otherwise. The church, the church by them not teaching, people think that it's the government fault. It's the government responsibility to take care of the poor, the needy, the widows, the orphans, the single mothers. That ain't biblical. Show me that in the Bible where the government is supposed to take care of other than the real nation of Israel. That's a government too. I'm talking about but the real nation of Israel ain't ruling. So in the Bible, you ain't gonna find that the government is supposed to take care of the needy, the home. You ain't gonna find that. And according to the Beast Church, you ain't gonna find that either. What I mean by that, they are not taking care of the widow, the orphan. the homeless people numbers is explode. And some of their own fellow Christian believers is the reason for the explosion in the homeless people. See what I'm saying? I got a problem with this cemetery. People, they burying people alive. People buried in debt. People buried in false doctrines. People buried in lies. People going to hell. Yeah, I see it as I don't see it as, yeah, it's some good, but I see it more becoming a problem for the lack of truth in the information age, for a lack of passion for the Most High's desire and His word and His law. I'm beginning to see it as a problem. Let me hit the play button.
Said you're doing millions in missions. Mega churches cannot have. We have been supporting a hospital in Salt Pond for 15 years. We built a computer school in Salt Pond. A small church cannot do that. We give away 1/10 of our budget. We've given over $500,000.
Yeah, my fault, dog. Let me put it back up here. He talking about all this other stuff. And they ain't talking about the bare minimum, the bare necessity of the Bible. The widows and the orphan, and he done went to college, and then it ain't even crossed his mind.
But see, the thing about it, where, and also I'm gonna bring this home to the Hebrew community, to our community, because I'm guilty of it my own doggone self.
We all guilty at some.
And I'm gonna step on my own toes this time, because I know some widows and some children that need help, and I've been in a position to help them, and I didn't help them. So as a community, as the Israelite community, we all got to do better at helping our widows and helping the children that we know don't have fathers.
Me too. We all got to. Right now, they keep us so far in debt that there's little we can do.
Right. We don't have enough left to help nobody.
Yeah, I was telling the brother today. I was telling the brother today. You know, I hadn't seen him in a while. I was talking about. I told him to come get this car. I said I shouldn't have a special price because I'm black. That's what we got going on. I'm not making no excuse for. Well, I do what I can, but it's a system in place where they give black folks a special price and white folks that got more money, they give them a less price. Yeah, we got that to deal with too. Yeah, that's a thing, y'all.
$1 million United Negro College Fund. We're giving over $500,000 in scholarship. A small storefront cannot do that. So yes, but we ain't every church.
He ain't mentioned not one poor person. But anyway, let me go.
We ain't every church, because some churches have $500,000 pastor anniversary. Hallelujah. Watch out now. Watch out. But again, you're all over the place in terms of when you say, is the money being spent by the mega churches, you have to define and name what mega churches you're talking about. You have to, and that's what I would just warn. So I would say in some instances, and what you're talking about most of the time what we see on television, no. But that's not, as Dr. Jilk said, that's not all mega churches.
Jacqueline Grant, I saw your hand. I want to come to you in 1 second because I don't want to be disfellowshipped. I don't want to be disfellowshipped when I get home to Los Angeles tomorrow morning. So, Bishop Jones, by all means, please speak, sir.
Well, thank you, Tavis. I don't have any problem with you telling me to shut up. I mean, that's fine. But nevertheless, I will agree with Dr. Wright. I think it's important for us to understand that the message, one of my best friends and I argue all the time, how does God give favor? And I think the favor that God gives the preacher is the message. If he can touch the lives of people, he will never build a building big enough to house all the people who will want to hear what he has to say. There is no question in my mind. But I have never heard of the deceitfulness of poverty. I've heard of the deceitfulness of riches. And oftentimes what happens is When we get to a certain level in ministry, we no longer feel what people feel. We no longer understand what they feel. For instance, if we were having church here today in a crowd like this and I got finished preaching, they would probably surround me so fast and walk me out of here so quickly that I wouldn't have an opportunity to shake anybody's hand or touch anybody. At a certain point in ministry, we no longer counsel. So we don't talk to people, so we don't know what their problems are. At a certain point in ministry, we move to the suburbs. And we no longer feel what people feel in the inner city. At a certain point in ministry, we lack absolutely nothing. And it becomes difficult to relate again to people who are struggling. And our offering taking sometimes reflects the fact that we don't have a clue about what people can or cannot give, because we just stand up and we begin to call money. It's not that I'm saying that a preacher shouldn't have anything and a mega church shouldn't be there, because if the message is there, the church is going to be big and people are going to come and lots of money going to be distributed, and the preacher might take 1% now of what comes in as opposed to 50% when it was small. I'm not saying that that's a problem, but I'm saying that every man needs somebody to answer to. Well, as I was listening to the discourse on the other side and listening to ownership and just dealing with the issues, Dr. Elance McCarty in Los Angeles left me a couple of tips on my way here. And he said on any given Sunday, you have approximately 65,000 African-American churches. On any given Sunday, that means you have 25 million members. On every given Monday, they put in the bank 50 million. Woo! On annually, it is 2 billion. The members spend in the American economy $300 billion.
Take that money and pool it together. Remember, Brother Stephen, you were talking about building, we got to build a community. We giving, just the wrong people receiving. You there, Brother Stephen?
We're richer than many nations. I am saying to myself, as I thought about that, and I listened to Dr. Combs about us gathering together, there are no cameras. What?
Yeah, see, I think I'm starting to see a whole nother thing. We're going to have to live this word out. That's going to be taking care of the widows and the orphans. We're going to have to do this. It ain't going to be no, in my opinion, I might be wrong. I don't think, see, the heathen, they're going to be the all for themselves. It's going to flip-flop. Know how we all for ourselves and forgetting them other Negroes. They starting to adopt this. I got my prep done, and you on your own. I'm starting to see the Most High said he was gonna raise us up, but the key is we can't let no wicked people. We got to keep an eye on the wicked. Make sure they don't.
See
what? Go ahead.
The wicked being the non-commandment keepers. See, that's the thing. Now we can't store up the blessings of the Most High that He's given to us.
Right.
And then turn around when times get hard and give it to the wicked.
Right.
Because then, what will we have to take care of the commandment keepers?
Nothing. You sure right. Boy, that was some wisdom.
Now, I understand that in our heart, we want to try to help everybody we can, but that ain't what the scriptures say.
Right. Now, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about in accordance with the will of the Most High.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But I'm saying this for the listeners. Emotions make you want to just try to help everybody. Now, we all living in hard times right now, and every little extra dime that I get, I try to store up stuff for my family.
Yeah.
And my brethren and sisters in the truth. So whenever this stuff do hit and we all come together and combine our resources, we'll have enough to sustain us. We can't take on every Tom, Dick, and Harry that come and knock on our doors and think we're supposed to help them.
Nope. It ain't gonna work like that.
But you know, Stefan, that's the very thing that we've been talking about, you know, doing what we can do, you know, through either BH1 or just us really trusting one another and doing some things so that we can become those who are able to help those that we can.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so you can't help every single body, but we can do a lot more by pooling. I remember when I was pastoring, and, you know, I was at a small church, you know, we doing our thing, man. And y'all should know I'm a planner, I'm a developer, but I came up with a plan, man, where we could have pooled all of our resources of 12 churches in the city of Cincinnati. Each one of them were bringing in, on average, about $40,000 every Sunday. That was really a low amount, but I just took that. I said, if they would give, I designed it so that 3 churches there are 3 churches every month would give one Sunday's offering to support pastors from small churches that couldn't afford to pay their pastor be full time, and give him a decent salary and pay for some health insurance for his family. You know what all them churches said to me? I won't even try to repeat to y'all the kind of things. I got laughed to scorn, man, because, you know, it was like, if you don't have it yourself, you know, I got mine, you get yours, you know? And I'm like, that's so antithetical to what it means to be the community. That's why we're trying to do what we're doing. That's why I've been preaching so as strong as I can to y'all about us making sure, you know, we band together with the resources we have and be able to feed some people and provide some home, whatever the Lord lays on our heart, you know. But I just feel real strongly about that. And I know I stayed an hour longer. My stomach is going crazy. I love y'all. I'm checking out, okay?
Yeah, I'm probably we coming up at 3 hours. I'm trying to get through this video.
We finna shut it off anyway.
Huh?
We finna shut it down here in just a second anyway. We right at 3 hours. I hadn't talked to my wife today either.
Okay. What tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll pick it up tomorrow and do part 2.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We will try to get through this one video. Well, okay. We appreciate you, brother Galen.
All right. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon, okay?
All right. Love y'all too.
Love you too. Y'all be careful.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shalom.
You got anything before I hit this play button, brother?
No, go ahead and hit it, bro. Let's let this thing play out.
All right.
In America, if all of us would forget our denominational hang-ups and decided to bank in an international bank altogether. Now, with those statistics, Dr. McCarthy still says that 70% of our churches are turned down when they go to the bank. What would happen if we leveraged that money, all came together, put it in one place, used all these brilliant black minds that we have to give us direction? Because as preachers, oftentimes we are just creative in the Bible. And when it comes to preaching every Sunday, your time is spent so much in studying the Word of God and trying to deliver the Word. Yet we have people in our congregations who are extremely astute at business and all kinds of other things. Why can't we humble ourselves a little bit? Let somebody put a program together. Somebody become our conscience. Bring us all together and make this thing work for all of us.
Your question was about HIV/AIDS.
Right.
What is the Black church not doing that we should be doing? I would say 2 things practically. 1, doing what Dr. Cone and Dr. McKenzie said outright. I hinted at it subtly by saying, I want you to picture a Hasidic Jew, Orthodox Jew, conservative Jew, Reformed Jew. Jews would not have TV cameras present talking about the Jewish community. All right? First thing we need to be doing is what Dr. Cone said and what Vashti said. We need to have a meeting privately to talk about among ourselves what we need to do collectively. All right? Because the same issue that keeps coming up with this anti-intellectualism, the same bifurcation between seminary, non-seminary, your theology, you love that word, but how you see God. If I see God as a male, white, long beard, then I see humans. Anthropology is determined by my theology. I see humans as male superior, white male superior, white men, white women, black men, black women, and hierarchically, my theology has messed me up. And how I see anthropology determines how I order my society. Theology determines, anthropology determines sociology, but we can't talk about that in front of cameras because a lot of folk who think being saved means I'm no longer black, we need to be locked, to close the door, lock horns and talk to one another. All right? But very practically, I have been, and I need Tom Joyner's help, and I need the media, now that he owns his own company, maybe he can do this. We need the media, Tavis. We need the media too, you too, all right? Because you and Tavis and Tom reach 100 times more black folk than we do on Sunday morning. And they're listening to you all right? They're listening to you all.
Hey, Tom, we should start taking tithes and offerings in.
And here's the point. What ought the black church be doing? Well, in addition to the whole theological understanding of sin and that AIDS is a biological issue, not a theological one, all right? In addition to that, put that one aside, we need to do what we did back in the 60s. Martin asked Dr. Taylor, he's here, he was there, I was here. The sit-ins, the pray-ins, all that wonderful public demonstration did nothing to change anything. It brought public attention and the cameras, but the changes came after the sit-ins were over, after the wade-ins were over, and the pray-ins were over. We sat down with legislators to get laws changed. You're talking about public policy? All right, call it where it is. Your sermon. Until Pfizer and Merck and the pharmaceuticals do here what they did in South Africa and in Brazil and allow the generic drugs, antiretroviral, everybody can't afford what Magic Johnson can afford. And until we do that, we ain't done nothing about AIDS. So that's what the black church ought to be doing about AIDS.
Okay. This question says it's from a black mother.
Can I say something, brother?
Most of our children are in school. Most of us mothers are weary of trying to fix it all. What?
Yes, sir.
The way the black church can fix AIDS and all the other diseases he's talking about is keep God laws
and start preaching against homosexuality and
lesbianism.
Yeah. You start preaching them laws, statutes, commandments, they'll cut all that out.
Yeah. Righteousness.
But that's all. Yeah. But see, they want all this other solution and leave the Most High out because we got money. See, we can fix it with the money. No, the Most High. No, you ain't gonna leave the Most High out of anything. You still gonna be in this situation relying on these public heads and these so-called doctors and shit. It's just that simple, brothers and sisters. It's right there in our book. Keep them laws, statutes, and commandments. But that's all I got, bro.
And let's not forget, the Most High also created pestilences for the wicked. Now it's evidence. It's evidence that this is a man-made phenomenon. That's why they went over there to Africa with them solutions.
With them missionaries, so-called missionary groups.
Yeah. If anybody in Africa hearing this, y'all see them folks, y'all run them folks out y'all country. Run them out y'all neighborhood. Run them out. I know somebody on these other platforms, some people from Africa. You know, like on BitChute. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something else, brother, that I done saw that's going on more and more. When these so-called Mormons and so-called Jehovah Witnesses showing up in these neighborhood where these Hebrews living at.
Yeah.
These Hebrews breaking these Bibles out. And they running them heathens out of their neighborhoods too.
I'm waiting. Hey, it's all come through. They come through about once a month. I'm waiting. I can't catch them. Hey, yeah. The next time I see them walking, I'm probably gonna walk with them.
Yeah.
Walk with me. When we sang that in church.
Walk with me.
Yeah. While I'm on this tedious journey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's time for it. This is warfare, family.
While I'm on this
Sing it.
tedious journey, all I need, Lord,
Whoa.
you to walk with me.
What they gonna say? If they turn me down, I'm gonna say, "Oh, ain't y'all Jehovah Witnesses? Y'all don't want to talk? I ain't gonna be aggressive.
Man.
I'm gonna be subtle. I ain't gonna be aggressive. But after that first time, they probably gonna say, "Here you go." They gotta learn this truth too.
The black church ought to be.
I especially got offended when I saw a Hebrew with them.
Doing about AIDS.
Okay. This question says it's from a black mother. Most of our men are in prison. Most of our children are failing in school. Most of us mothers are weary of trying to fix it all. What is the black church's role in building up its families?
The black church has to hit the street. The black church has to hit the street. The reality is that young boys are being raised on the streets in the absence of responsible role models. If we've got 65,000 black churches in America, we have to ask ourselves, why is there an inverse relationship between the presence of black churches and their relative absence on the corners and streets where our children live? We've got a generation of orphans that in too many cases, the black church is ignoring. So we got to move from the pulpit and the pews into the streets and advocate for the widow and the orphan.
Yes, I just needed to raise a question just so we can stay critically thinking people. If we keep hearing over and over again, is the black church healthy for black women? That black women are 60 to 70% of our congregations. They are mostly single mothers, tired, working, giving too much money. We only got 30% of the brothers there. We working them to death because they're only 30%, so they're doing everything. Who's going to hit the street, Gene? You want the women? You want these single mothers who are already tired to hit the streets? When you say the black church, we need to hit the streets, you talking about Jackie's women. Who you talking about hitting the street? Let's be real.
Where is your faith?
Hey,
Hey,
I wonder what they saying right now. Why they seeing these Hebrews in these streets?
yeah. They trying to get them blocked. I saw they tried to
See,
block.
they don't want to get dirty, what it was. They don't want to get dirty in the streets. They don't want to get dirty, Hebrew.
It ain't for them.
No, they just want to stay behind the wall and keep collecting that money.
Yeah.
When you go out into the streets, you got to spend money. You got to buy water. You got to buy fans.
Hey, look.
You got to buy speakers. They ain't trying to spend a dime to save us.
Some of them ain't going out here in the streets because they out there on the street Saturday night. They already out here sideways.
Hey,
How you gonna represent the church? Huh?
You got a good point.
How you gonna represent the church and you the neighborhood hoe? Neighborhood homemonger. How you gonna represent the church? Them guys on the street, I'm telling you, Brother Stephen, you know them guys on the street, they'll check these church folks in a minute.
They sure will.
You can't, cause hustlers know a hustler. I don't care if he's from the pulpit or he from the,
From the street.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Uh-huh. And see, another thing, bro, like when you hit them streets, you got to be able to relate to somebody.
Yeah.
You got to be been through something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the reason why these Hebrew assemblies that's recruiting these brothers off the street are able to go back into the street and have a ministry with these brothers and sisters in the street because they come out of the streets.
Right.
But the ones that come out of the streets, they don't feel welcome in the church because as soon as they set their butts down in the pew, the pastor start hammering on top of their head about what they doing in the street, but they ain't saying nothing about what they doing up in the church because he effing the choir director.
Yeah.
You want to talk about me out here selling dope, but you messing with the deacon wife.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about. The neighborhood homemonger.
Yeah. So that's the reason why they're not able to get out into the street and have a street ministry. Because they can't relate to the street because they've been behind the walls ever since Reconstruction.
And don't forget that 501c3. You can't talk. You can't talk no revolutionary work. Yahusha was a revolutionary. Well, I should say is a revolutionary.
I'm going to say that one more time. They've been behind them church walls ever since Reconstruction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sound like COINTELPRO worked like a charm.
The real gospel, when it's preached right, according to Yeshua told us how to go out here in the highways and byways and teach it. See, you're going to have to go through it and be persecuted like Christ said. These guys ain't being persecuted, how they rich. Yeshua said, they're going to hate you for my name's sake. The world hate me, know that the world hates you too. The world loves them. The world come to hear them, but the world don't hear Yeshua. Only those that who Yeshua called to hear him. He said, what? My sheep hear my voice. So you better ask yourself something. If you ain't getting your ass whooped for teaching the gospel, then you ain't teaching.
That's right.
Right.
If you ain't getting persecuted for what comes out, you ain't doing something right.
You scared the Baptist convention gonna fire you because you teaching who the biblical Israelites are? You ain't doing that. The time of grace, as Mike said, is coming to an end.
Grace!
You're under grace right now. Let me hit this play button. Y'all got it. I'm gonna hit this play button.
Go ahead.
We got about 2 more minutes.
Go ahead.
Let's don't do applause sound bites. Let's do something. What do we do about the church? Each church needs to do something. Hitting the streets might not necessarily be it. She got to work every day. She got choir rehearsal. She got Bible study. She ain't gonna.
This man is making up every darn. This is a military man. This is a military man. He served in the Navy. This is not the characteristic of a military man. Making excuses. I never did know this side of Reverend Jeremiah Wright. I didn't know this man was like this.
Listen, you're coming out of his mouth as somebody that don't want to really see true change.
I see. Making up every excuse. I get that. You don't want to send your women out there. I get that.
And where did he learn this at, though? Where did he learn how to be like this at?
The cemetery school.
Okay.
He learned from the people that hate us. He learned from the people that created slavery as it is today. He learned from the people that promotes and that created white Jesus and white Hebrews and white Hebrew language and whitewashing. He learned from them. Never mind, and I'm not picking on the brother because of his skin color either. That ain't got nothing to do with it. We got a whole lot of dark-skinned brother, boy. They worse. Man, I done seen a whole man. I'm not saying that.
But he keep throwing shots at the dark-skinned pastor that's speaking of some tangibles, though.
Yeah. But he making up. See, when you go to see a military people make up excuses, you better watch them Negroes.
Can I tell y'all something?
What? Go ahead.
Every damn pastor, they're guilty and will be punished according to the word of the Most High. They're going to repeat. They up there playing a game on the camera, bro. One is going to be to look like the savior. The other playing the villain. And then Jeremiah Wright is playing the villain. This is a game, man. They playing a game on the minds of the people.
Tavis Smiley reading from a paper. Or maybe he wrote down
Listen,
some questions.
every last one of them up there that's sitting on that panel, all of them bootleg.
One thing we do know, every TV show is scripted. It's got some kind of script. But you know what? When I write down notes, that's a script. So I did think that it was an act. I ain't gonna lie. But go ahead. You just said what I was thinking. I didn't say nothing because that's how I normally think.
It's an act because listen, Warren. This is how I know it's an act. Joe, Bishop, I can't even want to call him Bishop. That dark skinned brother, he's sitting up here saying what he's saying, going against the very fact that he preached prosperity. He preached that man.
Oh, I don't know him. I done
heard him preach it.
I ain't never heard him preach.
He got prophets in his church. Them false prophets that he was crying to. Then he want to sit up here and we listen to this. Now, I know this is an old video, but still, what I'm saying is this dude is a false preacher, false prophet. These guys up here playing a game on the people, man.
Well, that's what they use. That's what they used to do in that Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hitting those streets ain't got no time. Duh.
And they eating it up.
Hold up there. Ask Miss Dupree. Ask Miss Dupree.
No. All right. No. Let me push back on that, Jeremiah. Oh, no. Listen. No, Doc. No. That's too easy. Look, there are black men in the churches. In your church. No, hold up, Doc.
Your church.
No, hold up, Doc.
Let's be specific.
You know, I'm being specific. No, I'm not talking about my church. No, I'm saying in Black America on the planet Earth, in the hood. Hold on, Doc.
You've done a survey.
I'm saying no. Because I'm saying that if we black preachers were to choose to set more examples where we connected hips with lips and were available, just visible, Doc. I'm not saying that we gotta rub shoulders with the uncouth and the unwashed. I'm simply saying that there is more that black men in the church can do to be visible and available to that mother that ain't got that child. That's all I'm saying, Doctor.
But they ain't the ones in church. When you say the black church.
Well, okay, why ain't they in there? Why ain't the men in the church, Pastor? You a man. Because they know a hustler when they see one. That's why the majority of the men ain't in the church. Think about it. Men know a hustler. Anytime you tell you black put an old woman, this was down here, or you put an old woman on blast because she didn't pay tithes, you put her on blast, you ain't doing nothing but hustling. You get an old woman get put out on the street, and you can't show no mercy and so forget about the tithe. You hustling. That ain't in the Bible.
I'm sick of sowing seed doctrine. I'm sick of this prosperity doctrine. I'm sick of these Negroes not teaching what thus said the Lord, going against the law statute. I'm sick of these niggas.
Me too.
With all this education, I'm sick of these niggas.
I'm sick of them. Let me go and get through.
Needs to hit the street. You got we still got this nebulous. What is the black church? Them brothers that made the babies, they ain't coming up to listening to you.
Which one?
They ain't in the church.
Which one?
They ain't coming to church. So they already hitting it. They hitting it all right, but it ain't, come on now.
Boy, I tell you.
No. What he say? I hear what he said. I hear what he said.
That man made up every excuse, but if he wanted to play the bad guy, he sure looked like.
What did he say? No.
All right, y'all got any thing else?
No, we at 3 hours, man. It's gonna have to be the end of part 1, man, and we'll start out the next one with Jeremiah.
Yep, we got
start out in the book of Jeremiah, man. We got some more videos to bring out, so we'll do part 2 tomorrow, I guess. If y'all brothers, y'all available.
Yeah, should be able to get a little time in. If not, we'll make it. We'll do a public. We'll do an announcement. That's right as of right now. Yeah. Mike, we didn't get to know bro. Your preview got me.
Hey, look. Like, Most High willing, we'll feed the people tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we got out today was important. You know what I'm saying? We you know, I think the people was edified. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we got work to do. I'm ready to hit these streets. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Get these streets and get these people woke up as much as we can. Get these people to Christ. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, big eye, little you. Because we all number servants. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Stephen said earlier, our righteous ain't number 50 rags. No, you said this. Boy, you said this. Our righteous ain't number 50 rags before the Most High. But in the book of James, the 5th chapter, the last verse, it said, if we just say one soul, it'll wipe a multitude of sins away. So I need some wiped away.
Yeah.
A multitude.
We need to try to break records in this area. Not that we is in for contest, but we need to swap our mindset. People want to break NFL records. They want to break basketball records. They want to break the Guinness Book of World Records. We finna break the spiritual realm. We finna start aiming higher so our mind become elevated. Your mind got to become elevated if your goal is elevated. You're going to have to bring your A game, or the Most High going to have to, you're going to have to be more subservient to the will of the Most High, because you know you can't do it without him. See, if you set your goal high on the Most High, in all your ways acknowledge him, he will direct your path. If you set your mind higher heights and deeper depths, that your whole mindset gonna change. And we ain't seen nothing yet. Devil's gonna fall by the wayside, and the Most High gonna resurrect his nation. Y'all, you got anything, Brother Stephen? Finna hit this song.
That's it. Go ahead. Let's take us out.
All praises to the Most High, and it's time to rise above.
What's going on, y'all? Hadassah Queeno. We gotta rise above the negativity. Psalm 94:19 is what we standing on right now when I'm filled with cares. Your assurance soothes my soul. Yeah, got me, and I got some of my friends on this track. Listen, payback is a beep. Remember what you did? Tell the children of this. Now it's all coming back on you, but we hit. We ain't falling for the fake news, baby. We choose to trust in the one who's a shelter, food, and guns. We ain't taking no chip in our hand, and we ain't taking no vaccination. Rise above the negativity so you can stand.
Rise above all the negativity. Rise because we sitting in the heavenlies, right next to the King of Kings. There's about to be a momentum swing. Rise above all the negativity. Rise because we're sitting in the heavenlies, right next to the King of Kings. There's about to be a momentum swing.
There's about to be a momentum swing for the nation of Yahshua. For the nation of Yahshua. Yes, a momentum swing. And I tell you that Yahudah will one again reclaim the throne. Yahudah will one again beat the praises of old. And I brought my friend Mo. Break it down one time.
Yahudah got the keys to the kingdom. Yahudah and the 12 tribes sent by our Redeemer. Yes, sir, the been declared for time to hold. The sea raining over the nations. Here we go. That's right, Yahudah want it all back. King coming with the big payback. Spoiled out his mouth for his enemies attack. Busting out the clouds. And with the kings, with the queens, we redeem. I redeem, we esteem, and believe. Yah Elohim. They rain would disappear like a vapor. Did you really think you can overcome my creator? Yes, sir, he said to do a new thing. Manifest the sons and daughters of the king. Have the earth even seen such a thing? It's about to be a momentum swing.
Rise above all the negativity. Rise because we're sitting in the heavenlies, right next to the King of Kings. There's about to be a momentum swing. Rise above all the negativity. Rise because we're sitting in the heavenlies, right next to the King of Kings. There's about to be a momentum swing.
Oh, foolish nation. Did you think Abba Yahuwah would forget his own? Do you think he would forget his own and break his promises? Oh no, this time I have my friend Mainframe. Break it down one time.
Yeah, rise up, yeah, we raising the grain, it's full face. Whole place, cause they raising the cane, it's plain. I'm able with the plenteous rain, and splendorous rain, except that you think it's a game, a game. My Aki, my Akko, my Miss Pat, We blow oats, so bars and multiplying like God folks. Still go to better, yo, they got coats. But now it's a different world we living in. Bitter the waters leading the bitter man. But in the battle thinking what could have been. Shoot to the start, the beat to the bitter end. Running into a super diddle man. Y'all send the sun, call it the middleman. Change the game, Jersey, the metal land. Giants was lost like the better way.